Game 2 of the playoffs starts today here at Gov Fuller Field, and the stakes could not be higher for the home Falmouth Commodores. After dropping Game 1 of the West semifinals 1-0 to the visiting Bourne Braves yesterday, the Commodores return back to Falmouth and will try to keep their season alive. And we're happy to bring it to you here right along the first base line here at Gov Fuller Field. Thanks so much for tuning in here to some Cape League playoff baseball here on Cape League TV. Daniel Stein joined by Alex Burstein, our two great producers, Jason Stellakis and Ryan Croak, next to us And Alex, as we talked about in the pregame show, look, this was not a good showing for Falmouth in Game 1 runs-wise, but hits-wise, they almost matched the Bravos and are coming in here with a pretty good amount of momentum.
Yeah, they got 8 hits in the contest, which is a pretty good number. That's going to win you a lot of games. The issue for them was making something out of those hits. You end the game with just 2 runs. Meanwhile, this Bourne team had 8 runs off of 9 hits. So I think the big thing tonight, if you're the Commodores, is situational hitting. You know you have guys who can get on base. Now do you have guys who can put those people in scoring position and put them across home plate, because this is a do-or-die game for them.
Falmouth and Bourne here in Game 2 as the lefty Christian Aiello takes the mound for the Doors. Let's meet the lineup for Scotlanders visiting Braves. Batting first is the shortstop Riker Waite, followed by the second baseman Rustin Rigdon. In the 3-hole is the center fielder Matt Bolton, with the hot-hitting Luke Costello hitting cleanup and playing right field. Berkeley Mabius hits 5th and plays designated hitter. Max Farrell, a newcomer to this lineup, hits 6th playing first base. Justin Osterhaus hits 7th in left field. Austin Hawk mans the hot corner and hits 8th. And the catcher Bryce Eastep rounds out the order. We'll see the Brave starter Ben Dean on the other side of the inning. But more on Christian Aiello, because he's a fun story. He's making his 4th start of the season. And Alex, he does not come from a powerhouse necessarily of college baseball, although it depends on who you ask, because he comes from Ryder. That's a team that did make the tournament this past season, and Aiello comes in with some really good numbers here this summer.
Yeah, I would say that if you made the NCAA tournament, you'd be pretty happy, and now he's moving on to another team who's perennially competing in Jacksonville State. So Aiello has certainly put himself in positions to win during his springs, and he's done so as well during the summer. This is just his 4th start, but you go across his previous 3, it's a win for Falmouth, a win for Falmouth, and you guessed it, a win for Falmouth. So while he only has 1 win, the Commodores are 3-0 when he mans the mound, and I think that's a pretty good sign of who you want on the mound in a must-win Game 2 of this divisional series.
Earlier today, we talked to Falmouth skipper Jack Dahm about him, and the big thing that he mentioned was, hey, this guy plays with a lot of fire, and he's going to be excited to start what could potentially be the final game of the Commodores season. But Aiello and company are trying to make sure that does not happen. So the big left-hander toes the rubber. 5'11", 190 out of Hewitt, New Jersey, on the bump to face the switch-hitting Riker Waite. Thanks so much for tuning in here. Cape League Radio here as the first pitch to Waite is a fastball that hovers into the zone for strike 1. Our umpires tonight, Sam Finn is calling balls and strikes. Robert McHugh's at first, and Joe Gravina's at third. 0-1 from Aiello. Slider misses inside. Aiello, potentially contrary to his stellar numbers, is not somebody who's going to really light up the radar gun. Fastball averages in the 80s. 1-1 is a slider that snaps into the zone back corner, and it's 1-2 on the shortstop Waite.
Yeah, he's kind of your traditional lefty who doesn't have a ton of velocity, but surely can place his pitch as well.
He's working quickly. The 1-2 on Riker Waite is fouled the other way. High fastball goes into the netting down the first base line. The first 3 up in the order for Bourne: Waite, Rigdon, and Bolton. You get 2 switch hitters back-to-back. Then the lefty Bolton in the 3 spot. 1-2, nobody out, no score. Pitch to Waite. Line drive the other way, it goes foul again. So even with the softer throwing Aiello up at the plate, Waite is a little bit late on it. Riker potentially waiting a little bit too long. Hitting .242 on the season. Aiello's 1-2. High fastball. Just taken up by the catcher Brooks. Dallas Brooks, the battery mate here for Aiello this evening. A.J. Putty's at first. Jeff Lugi's at second. Matthew Farner's at short. 2-2 on Waite. He just got a piece of the slider and stays alive. Braden Jeffries is at third base for the Commodores. Carter White's in left. Fabio Peralta's in center. And Gavin Gregor's in right. It's the Commodores' defense here for Game 2 of the West Semis. Good battle here to start things off. 2-2. The pitch to Waite. Fastball roped the other way and past the glove of the second baseman Lugi, and it rolls into shallow right. Leadoff single for the Braves. Riker Waite does what a good leadoff hitter can do and gets on base here to start things off.
And he does 2 things very well as a leadoff guy. Not only does he often reach, but he also just puts pressure on the starting pitcher And you can see that there in Aiello. You do not want to have to throw 7 or 8 pitches before you reach your second guy. Waite battles off a couple of ones he doesn't like and then gets the nice opposite field hit.
Man on first, no outs, top 1 as Aiello steps off and checks on Waite, who's in safely. Here's the second baseman, Rustin Rigdon, checking in. Rising junior out of Vanderbilt, who's been with this Bourne team the whole way. Looking to get some things started here as they got Waite in a rundown. Waite going for second. The throw in is in time to get him. Aiello to Putty to the shortstop Farner. And so Riker Waite, who is normally very dangerous on the base paths when he's at school, but only 2 stolen bases here this summer, gets picked off for the 3rd time.
And this is a Bourne team that stole a trio of bases last night. Not as good of a start here.
First pitch on Rustin Rigdon is a fastball at the top of the zone. It's quickly 0-1. 1 out with the bases clear here in the top of the first. No score between Bourne and Falmouth. Aiello's 0-1. Fastball popped up, goes over the press box and out of Gov Fuller Field. 0-2 with 1 out here on Rigdon. 248 average for him. 17 ribbies on the season. Another top base stealer in the Cape as well. 0-2. Fastball fouled away. This one gets caught in the netting and bounces into foul territory. Falmouth ball boy wins the battle on that one. We'll do it again, 0-2. Falmouth in their home uniforms with the white pants, white jerseys, the crimson lettering across the chest. 0-2 on Rigdon. Fastball nubbed the other way. It will carry him off the Falmouth dugout. Bourne's got their road threads on with the gray pants and strawberry red jerseys, but with those dark blue batting helmets. The Bourne B across the top of the brim. Another 0-2 on Rigdon. Slider reached out and hit into left center field. Should be playable for Fabio Peralta, who makes the catch out in center. 2 outs here after Waite singled and then got caught stealing. Rigdon flies out. Now here comes Matt Bolton, another guy, Alex, who's been with this team the whole way and is starting to turn the corner a little bit.
Yeah, he dominated this past year at Binghamton. The power really was not there for most of the season, but he had a pair of home runs late last week in Bourne's regular season final push. He's come together.
First pitch, fastball outer half called for a strike. Lefty-lefty matchup here with the Binghamton Bearcat at the plate. Aiello working quickly here. Shakes off the first one from Brooks. Now starts his 0-1. Slider tapped to the right side, foul. Bolton playing in his 39th game for Bourne, hitting .258 on the year. He's got a trio of home runs and 13 RBI. 0-2. Here's the pitch. Fastball just misses outside. Sam Finn, the home plate umpire, got into a pretty good squat for that one, but just shook it off. Bolton stays alive. 1-2, 2 outs. Bases clear in the top of the first. No score. Aiello's pitch to Bolton. Fastball foul to the right side. We'll do it again on 1 ball, 2 strikes. Luke Costello waits on deck for the Braves. Bourne the 2 seed. Falmouth the 3 seed. 1-2. Breaking ball hit to the right side. Gloved by Jeff Luigi at second. He throws to Putty, and that's a 1-2-3 first inning for Christian Aiello. So he got in a little bit of a rocky place with the leadoff single from Riker Waite, but the Falmouth offense catches him stealing. Falmouth defense catches him stealing, and the Braves go scoreless in the top of the first. Just getting started here at the Gov in Game 2 of the West Semis. Falmouth bats coming up next in a scoreless contest. Bottom of the first here at Gov Fuller Field. No score between the visiting Braves and the home Commodores in Game 2 of the West semifinals here in the Cape League playoffs. Thanks so much for joining us. Daniel Stein with Alex Burstein here as we meet the Braves starting pitcher, Ben Dean, the right-hander, making his second start of the season.
Yeah, and that might make you think he's a new guy. Not quite. This is his 10th appearance of the year. Very, very good reliever. His ERA standing at just 1.5. Now the question becomes, does he have length as a starter?
He meets the leadoff man for Falmouth, Fabio Peralta, the center fielder. Righty-lefty matchup. The first pitch is a fastball that misses downstairs for ball 1. Dean is pretty different from Christian Aiello in that he's going to really dial up the heat on that fastball, which is frequently in the mid-90s. 1-0 on Peralta, the Miami man. Here's the pitch. Fastball cut on and missed. Fabio was late on it, and it's 1-1. Peralta has been day one, 256 average for him on the year, 9 RBI. Still looking for his first long ball here on the Cape. Similar to Rustin Rigdon for the Braves, a top base stealer as well. Both have 19 stolen bags on the year. Dean's 1-1. High fastball, popped up foul over the netting on the left side, and will get out of play. Our very own Gabby Chernoff had a really interesting piece on Fabio Peralta a couple weeks ago. Talked about his journey from Cuba to the United States. Him and his family defected. Peralta just visited Cuba recently, a couple years ago. Dean's 1-2, breaking ball, swung on and missed for strike 3. First man he faces, he strikes out. Peralta shares some words with the two-hitter Braden Jeffries and heads back to the dugout. One away here, bottom 1.
When we talk about how much relief work Ben Dean has, he kind of has that traditional reliever strategy. You hammer the fastball for a couple of strikes, and then you have your wipeout breaking pitch. We see that right here, and it's very effective when it works.
First pitch to Jeffress, righty-lefty. Here's the pitch. High fastball fouled away. Goes against the netting and picked up by the Bourne ball boy. Jeffress has quite simply been one of the best hitters on the Cape this season. In just 25 games, he's hitting .340 with 16 RBI. That leads the Doors. Dean's 0-1. Fastball spiked in the dirt right into the catcher's shoulder. That's Bryce Estep behind the plate. Such a your defense here for the Bravos. At first, it's Max Farrell. Rustin Rigdon's at second. Riker waits at short with Austin Hawk at third, with Justin Osterhaus in left, Matt Bolton in center, and Luke Costello in right. The 1-1 here on Jeffress. Low fastball, and he goes swinging at it. 1-2. It's not a swing you usually see Braden Jeffress take. Now at the 2-strike count, the third baseman Austin Hawk will take a couple steps back and play on the infield dirt. No shift being applied for the lefty Jeffries. A.J. Putty, the Illinois man, waits on deck for the Doors. 1-2, Dean's pitch. High fastball. Jeffries couldn't help himself, and a sword there at 93. Dean has fanned his first 2 that he faces. That is not an at-bat you see very often from Braden Jeffries, especially one of that quality.
Yeah, he looked completely lost behind that fastball. Perfect placement from Dean. You're ahead in the count. You can experiment with a fastball out of the zone, and the third baseman goes fishing. A really, really strong start from the righty.
Swung on a couple balls outside of the zone. 2 outs here, bottom 1. No score between Bourne and Falmouth. Righty-righty matchup with A.J. Putty. Here's the first pitch. It's a fastball that snaps into the zone at the knees to make it 0-1. Putty has been kind of slipping and sliding down and up this lineup, but he finds himself in the 3-hole here tonight. 3 home runs on the season. That is more than any other Door. 0-1. Breaking ball just misses outside. Putty checked his swing, and it is 1-1.
That's a pretty impressive category to lead in when you were only a second-half player.
Especially a guy who's younger than Burr and I, coming into his sophomore year at Illinois. Dean's 1-1 pitch. Fastball popped up, and we'll get out of Gov Fuller Field behind us. Might have taken a direct hit to a car out there in the parking lot. Thankfully, all of our cars are not parked there.
I think it may have been the cargo container, considering it was that loud of a boom.
Did make a pretty big boom, didn't it? 1-2 with 2 outs. Dean's pitch on Putty. Fastball hit right up the middle. Rotating over is Waite. He drops it, picks it up, and throws over, not in time. So Putty into first. Presume they're going to call that a single. That was going to be a tough play for Riker Waite at short. Either way, it's the first base runner of the day for the Doors. So maybe that offense picking up a little bit after back-to-back strikeouts.
Yeah, it may be a tough ball, but that's certainly one that Waite will want back. He is a very strong fielder, can play around the middle infield, and he got that ball cleanly, just stuttered with it a little bit and dropped it. So Falmouth has got to make use of any errors Bourne gives them.
Righty-lefty with Tommy Harrison, who checks his swing on a breaking ball in the dirt. Second base umpire Sam Finn says that he held up. 1-0 with 2 outs. Putty on first. They officially do put that ball as a single in the scorebook. So after back-to-back Ks, each team has a hit here tonight. Dean from the stretch. Sets at the belt. Rocks back and forth. His 1-0 pitch. Harrison swings and misses at the off-speed. Slider's got a lot of bite to it. Evens the count at 1-1. Harrison and Putty arguably have been the two best power hitters for Falmouth. Even more impressive considering they have not been here for most of the season. Putty with the small lead at first. Dean's 1-1. Breaking ball clips the outer half of the zone. Breaking ball coming in at 81. I mean, that is major league level velocity on a breaking pitch. Ball and 2 strikes with 2 outs. Bottom 1, 0-0 here between Bourne and Falmouth. Dean 1 strike away. 1-2 pitch to Harrison. Fastball cold, strike 3 at the knees. So he surrenders a 2-out single to A.J. Putty, but strikes out all 3 Commodores for his outs. We played 1 inning full here at the Gov. 0-0 between Bourne and Falmouth. A good one brewing here on Cape League TV. Top of the second, getting underway here at Gov Fuller Field, where it's 4, 5, 6 in this Braves lineup. Getting ready to go against Christian Aiello, who gets back to the mound. Luke Costello, Berkeley, Mabius, and Max Farrell, the first 3 up in the Bravos order here this inning. Scoreless after a really fun first, if you like pitching. Aiello was able to get some help from his defense, picking off Riker Waite. And Ben Dean in the bottom of the first got 3 strikeouts. See what Costello has anything to say about it. Lefty-righty, the first pitch is a slider that misses inside.
Well, if you thought you got out of trouble with 1, 2, and 3, now you face off against 2 of the best power hitters in the league.
1-0. Fastball clips the zone, only comes in at 86, but it is enough to even the count here. Luke Costello no longer without his brother Andrew on the team, but he's continued to pick up the pace. 1-1, fastball popped up foul. It's going to be 1-2 here with nobody out. He's hitting only .230 on the season, but he's also got 23 RBI, which leads this Bourne team. Strikeouts have been a bit of an issue, but he's also gotten on base a lot via the walk. 1-2. Fastball misses out at 88. Bases clear, nobody on. Here in the top of the second. No score between Bourne and Falmouth. Aiello's 2-2, breaking ball fouled back. Right in front of the Bourne broadcast crew, which is kind of just on the other side of us. We're on the first base side. Bourne guys are on the third base side, and the Falmouth boys are up in the press box. 2-2, here's the pitch to Costello. Drilled out to right center field. Fabio Peralta giving chase. He looks up, and this ball leaves the yard. It only took 35 games, but Luke Costello has his first long ball on the Cape. And it gives Bourne a 1-0 lead here in Game 2 of the West semifinals.
We'll talk about a guy that shows up in the big moments. First triple of the season in game number 1 of this series, and now a dead center first home run of the year in game number 2. Peralta chased that one back, but I'm pretty sure he knew early on that was way out of here. What a well-hit ball.
First one on the righty. Mabius misses outside for a ball. I mean, that ball was clobbered, and that was to the deepest part of the park, and it's a high wall here at Gov Fuller Field. 1-0. Mabius watches a slider hover into the top of the zone to make it 1-1. Aiello not slowing down his pace at all. 1-1. Here's the pitch. Another high slider, this one a little too high. 2 balls and a strike. 1-0 Braves after the leadoff home run from Luke Costello here in the top of the second. He knew the power was in him. It was only a matter of time until he got one. 2-1 on Mabius. Fastball in the dirt, and it's 3 balls and a strike. Aiello back on a mound to face the future Mississippi State Bulldog. 3-1. Outside corner for strike 2 on the heater. Full count here on the DH Mabius. He's probably not used to playing DH very much, considering he was Oregon's main catcher. 3-2, breaking ball in the dirt, and it's a walk here to Mabius, so both of the batters that have hit in this inning for Bourne have reached. After the home run, Mabius aboard with the first walk of the game from either team.
And this is a big couple of batters upcoming for Aiello. You have a strong first inning. Your fastball gets tested by Luke Costello, gives up the home run, but 1-0 is a very manageable deficit. If you can get out of this inning clean, that's the big question mark for the Jacksonville State product.
First time we get to lay eyes on Max Farrell here, playing in his 4th game. Maybe it's with the big lead on first. First pitch to Farrell is a fastball inner half for strike 1. Just 10 at-bats for the Bravos here in the summer. He's got 3 hits in 10 tries. Previously with the Ocean State Waves of the NECBL. He was an all-star there. 0-1. Outside to make it 1-1. Played in 31 games with the Waves and hit .273. A couple long balls as well. The right-hander's got a runner on first, still nobody out, and now his Bourne Braves lead 1-0. Aiello's pitch. Breaking ball cut on and missed. Tailed on the inner half, and it's 1-2.
That slider's definitely getting the most swings and misses early on, so that should be the go-to pitch for Aiello if you can get into these friendly pitcher counts.
A ball and 2 strikes, nobody out, 1 on. Aiello's pitch. Breaking ball reached out and hit into center field. Well hit, but playable. Fabio Peralta standing under it, and he makes the catch. Out number 1 here in the top of the second, and one that Aiello desperately needed after letting the first 2 on base. So Farrell's out. There's Justin Osterhaus, the left fielder, checking in. Top of the second here at Gov Fuller Field. 1-0. Only run coming in on a Luke Costello home run. Lefty-lefty with Osterhaus. Still on first is Mabius. First pitch from Aiello. Fastball in the dirt at just 84. It's 1-0. Osterhaus, another guy who's fairly new to Bourne, but familiar with the Cape. He was a Commodore last season. Aiello's 1-0. Fastball misses outside at just 70 miles an hour. Osterhaus spent this past season at Alabama. Before that, a couple years as a Purdue-Fort Wayne Mastodon. It's a program out in the Horizon League. 2-0, fastball misses inside. Dropping it was the catcher Dallas Brooks, which could have potentially influenced the decision from Joe Gravina to call it a ball. 3-0 in Osterhaus. Maybe it's on first, 1 out. Aiello's pitch. Fastball at the knees. This one gets the call. It's 3-1. Game 2 of the West semifinals. The winner of this series takes on either Hyannis or Katuitt. 3-1. Osterhaus hits a ground ball through the right side for a base hit. Mabius makes the turn at second. He will pause. Second hit of the inning. First the home run, now the single, first and second with 1 out for Austin Hawk.
Yeah, not a super hard struck ball, but just found that perfect space between the second and first baseman, so much so that Jeff Luigi immediately started looking for the play at second base. He knew he didn't have a chance to field it, and a really smart piece of hitting. Bourne already up to a trio of hits in just the second inning.
Right-hander Austin Hawk at Wake Forest up at the plate. 2 on with 1 out. The first pitch from Aiello misses outside. Mabius on second, Osterhaus on first. 1-0 Bourne here in the top of the second inning. First plate appearance for Hawk today, who's playing in his 14th game here with Bourne. Aiello's 1-0. Fastball again, just misses as well. 2 balls, no strikes. Hawk, a sub-200 average on the season. Does have a home run and 9 RBI. 13 strikeouts in 13 games. Something he's going to want to cut down on. Aiello looks back at second. Now his 2-0 pitch. Gets away from the catcher Dallas Brooks. Moving up to third and getting in standing up is Mabius. Scoring decision still to come here, as that one I think could really go either way between a passed ball and a wild pitch. Either way, runners move to the corners. 3-0, 1 out. 3 hits for the Bravos already through just 1 1/3 innings. They're looking for more runs after Luke Costello clobbered a leadoff home run to dead center. Does Hawk have the green light? Aiello's pitch. Fastball outside for ball 4, and the bases are loaded for Bryce Estep. For those keeping score at home, that did go in as a passed ball on Dallas Brooks, but it ultimately didn't matter as that runner at first, Osterhaus, moves up. Bases juiced here for the 9-hitter and the catcher, Bryce Estep.
Yeah, the one thing that Aiello has prided himself on is his control through his start so far this summer, and that just isn't here right now as Paul Evans walks out to the mound for the first mound visit of the night, the veteran pitching coach for Falmouth. And this is a big spot. You're already down 1-0 in a do-or-die game. You have some strong hitters coming to the plate soon. You have to get a quick out, and a double play ball would be even better.
So Paul Evans walked up to the mound, and it's a 3-man meeting here between the pitching coach, the catcher, Estep, or the catcher Brooks, I should say, and the pitcher Aiello. The other catcher, Estep, is getting ready to swing the lumber here. That meeting with Coach Evans, a quick one, and he walks back to the dugout. Mabius on third, Osterhaus on second, and Hawk on first. Just 1 out in the inning. Braves already have 1 run on the board this inning, and they're looking for more. Estep at the plate, the righty hitting catcher. Aiello comes set, holds the glove at his shoulder, the first pitch. Off speed, misses low and in on Estep, 1-0. Last man to hit here in the order before it turns over for Riker Waite. 1-0. Aiello's pitch. Estep watches a fastball low and on the inside corner to make it 1-1. Has not been a necessarily productive summer offensively for Estep. That average at just 137. He does have a home run. Strikeouts have been a problem for him. Aiello's 1-1. Estep watches a fastball low and outside. 2 balls and a strike here with 1 out.
Yeah, he's really trying to chase those corners on the bottom of the zone, but mixed success through the first 8 batters.
2-1. Aiello's pitch. Fastball cut on and missed, and E-Step evens the count at 2-2. Big point early in this game. Can Aiello right the ship and limit the damage, or can Bourne get control early? 2-2 on E-Step. Here it is. High fastball hit out to left center field. Charging in is Carter White. He makes the catch on the run. Tagging up at third is Berkeley Mabius. He's in standing up. 2-0 Bourne on a sac fly from Bryce E-Step. That ball off the bat looked like it might be trouble for Falmouth, but the wind kind of took hold of it and swirled it around. In the end, the Braves do get a run here and double their lead.
Yeah, not the result that E-Step necessarily wanted, but he still nabs the RBI, and now a multi-run lead for Bourne. This is exactly what they did last night. It was the first inning they scored a run, not the second, but striking early and then letting your pitching do the rest of the way. Really good stuff from the Braves.
No other runners move up. First and second, 2 outs. Back to the top of the order for Riker Waite. Aiello's first offering. Waite watches a fastball neck high for 1-0. Waite is 1 for 1 today. He singled to lead off the game to right field, but then was caught stealing. Osterhaus at second, Hawk at first. Both runners go. Second pitch is taken outside for a ball, and it's a double steal for Bourne. Not even an attempt from the catcher Brooks. And now 2 in scoring position here again.
Yeah, I'm surprised to not see even like a fake throw or something to put some pressure on this early in the game.
2-0 on Waite. Aiello's pitch. Fastball right down the pipe, and it's 2-1. Interesting, no green light there on a hitter's count. Brave shortstop taking his time. 2-0 Bourne, and it's 2-1 on the count. 2 outs in the inning. Pitch from Aiello. Fastball popped up to the right side, foul. It will just clear the bleachers and bounce safely into the parking lot without hitting a car. Deuces are wild here. 2-2, 2 outs. 2 runs on the board for Bourne here in inning number 2. Runners on second and third. Aiello gets the sign. The lefty deals. High fastball popped up again. This one will find the parking lot and make an unfortunate sound. Out of play for a foul ball. We'll do it again at 2 apiece.
Well, there's more fans than usual here at Gov Fuller Field, less places to park, and some people, unfortunately, were confined to not the splash zone, but the hit zone, I guess.
2-2 again. Aiello's pitch. High fastball popped up. Look out in the parking lot one more time. Riker Waite really likes hitting it out of play to that specific area. But he's back in the box. He didn't even leave the right-handed batter's box. 2-2, 2 outs here in the second. Aiello deals. High slider popped up. It better not go into that same area. And that one does not go in the parking lot. Young fan will grab that one as a souvenir. The runs so far in this inning, a Luke Costello solo home run and a Bryce E-Step sac fly. Bourne's threatening again, though. Runners on second and third with 2 outs. 2-2 once again. The pitch to Waite. High fastball cut on and missed for strike 3. Aiello gets his first strikeout and limits the damage. But Bourne, once again, takes the lead early here in the West semifinal series. They already lead the series 1-0, and they just picked up 2 runs here in the second. To the bottom half of the inning we go. Bourne 2, Falmouth 0 on Cape League TV.
Jack it up.
Ben Dean back out on the mound for Bourne. This time he's pitching with a 2-0 lead here as we head to the bottom of the second on Cape League TV. Thanks so much for joining us and spending your evening here at Gov Fuller Field. Well, the home Commodores are going to look to get back in this game. Their season depends on it. Bourne leads this 3-game set 1-0 after an 8-2 win yesterday at Doran Park. Now it's the Doors' turn to hit. Matthew Farner, Carter White, and Jeff Luigi, first three up in the order. Dean got 3 strikeouts in the first inning. He's going to keep that momentum going here. Shortstop Farner at the plate, righty-righty matchup. Dean sets at the belt and kicks and fires. Fastball misses below the zone at 91.
And Dean just has such a snap release on his fastball, sitting lower 90s, but it gets to the plate so quickly. Not much time for the Commodores to react.
1-0. His pitch to Farner. Fastball again misses inside. When he has missed, it's been low, which is not something you see a lot. But as Alex mentioned, just the way that he releases the pitch, you can kind of see he's throwing a little bit further down intentionally than the average pitcher. 2-0. Farner swings and misses at a fastball down in the zone. It's 2-1. Two to nothing Braves. Dean, a guy who, as we talked about, does not often start, but has been phenomenal when he's been on the bump this summer. He's being asked a big job here. 2-1, here it is. Fastball drilled into left center field. Moving over is the center fielder, Bolton. He can't make the play, and it rolls up against the wall. Farner cruising into second, leadoff, stand-up double. And the Doors get their second hit of the game, first extra base hit of the game. Farner got a fastball and tattooed that one into the left center gap.
That might be the momentum this Commodores team needs. You go back to that first hit by A.J. Putty. It was fumbled around by Waite over at short. This is the first well-hit ball against Dean in a while, and a really nice job to get extra bases. You can cut the lead in half with the base hit.
Tying run at the plate here in Carter White. Righty-lefty first pitch. Breaking ball misses outside. Comes in at 81, does not get the call. Farner on second. Nobody out here, bottom 2. Pitch to Carter White. Breaking ball, he checked his swing. Joe Gravina says that he went around. It's 1-1. I mean, when Dean is throwing that breaking ball, it doesn't exactly look the same, but it's got kind of a Craig Kimbrell type effect where he just throws it and it completely bounces in the dirt, and yet he's still getting that swing and miss. 1-1 with Farner being held on at second. Dean's pitch. Breaking ball, and he swings and misses at it again. I mean, that ball is not even hitting Bryce Estep's glove. It's got to be intentional, but it's working out pretty well.
That's why it's so important to have such a great defensive catcher like Estep behind home plate. His bat has struggled a little bit this summer, but you're always confident with him catching, and he gets the start alongside Dean to back up those wild but impressive pitches.
1-2 on White here with nobody out. Dean's pitch. Breaking ball in the dirt. This time White lays off. It's been an impressive season for the future Mississippi State Bulldog White. After a good season at North Florida, he's hitting .288 in 20 games here with the Commodores. 16 RBI in that span. It's been a real good run producer for Jack Dahm and this Falmouth team. Farner on second, nobody out. 2-0 Braves. Dean's 2-2 pitch. High fastball clubbed into shallow left field. Justin Osterhaus settles under it and makes the catch. Farner doesn't tag. Throw goes back to second. He's in safe. First out of the inning comes on the fly out to left. Now the second baseman, Jeff Luigi here. Bottom of the second inning. Bourne leads 2-0. Game 2 of the West semifinals. Bourne won the first game. Hyannis won the first game of the other semifinal in the West Division. So both of the higher seeds have the advantage. First pitch to the lefty, Luigi. Breaking ball, called for a strike. He checked his swing. Quickly 0-1. Luigi going from south to west. Started at Duke, now going to Northwestern. 0-1. Fastball cut on and missed as his former college teammate hits 94, and it's 0-2. Luigi just passed double-digit games here with this Commodores team. This is his 11th of the season. Kept up a .286 batting average. He's brought in 3 RBI. 0-2 pitch. Breaking ball. Cut on and missed. Estep's going to throw down to first on the drop third. He'll complete the out. Farner stays put at second. That's strikeout number 4 for Ben Dean. There's that breaking ball in the dirt again, Alex.
Yeah, and you mentioned their college teammates, but even Luigi, who you have to imagine may have taken a at-bat or two in the preseason against Ben Dean, can't figure it out. He's parrying that 94-mile-per-hour fastball the very next pitch, just filled from the dirt. No answer from the Commodores.
Another lefty here with Dallas Brooks. First pitch from Dean is a breaking ball called for a strike. And you can see why Dean was so successful at Duke, because not only can he get that swing and miss stuff with the breaking ball in the dirt, he can also jump out in front of hitters and get it for a called strike. 0-1 on Brooks. Fastball bounces up against the right shoulder of Estep, but Farner didn't get a good look at it and stays put at second.
Yeah, there's been a few balls. I'm kind of surprised Farner, who has speed, hasn't attempted to get to third base. You only have 2 hits. You want to get as close to home as possible.
Farner doubled to lead off the second inning. Commodores trail 2-0 here to the Braves. 1-1 from Dean. Breaking ball misses low and away. Well, we talked about how Bryce Estep has been phenomenal defensively but struggled offensively. You can kind of say an opposite thing for Brooks, who has kept up a .293 average this season in his 17 games with the Doors. 10 RBIs as well. Does have a home run. Deep breath from Dean, the 2-1 pitch. Fastball roped into center field just above the glove of Waite. Rounding third and scoring is Matthew Farner. The Doors cut the lead in half. There's that hitting prowess from Dallas Brooks. And the 8-hitter for Falmouth cashes in their first run.
And you can tell the home fans at Gov Fuller Field love it. That's the first run scored in a playoff game here for the home squad in 3 years to the date. So they've been waiting for that one for a while. Just a hard hit ball, a little bit higher than either the second baseman or the shortstop could get to. And Falmouth starting to figure out Dean.
Runner on first, 2 outs. Dean allows his first run. Righty-lefty with Gavin Greger. The first pitch is a fastball hit into center field. Coming in is Bolton. He'll make the catch. And that gets Dean out of the inning. Well, he gave up a hit in the first inning, but he proved in the second that he's not untouchable. Farner leads off the frame with the double, and Dallas Brooks brings him home with an RBI single. That gets us to a 2-1 ball game here through 2 innings in Falmouth. On to the third we go. Bourne Bats coming up next here on Cape League TV. Two, 3, 4 in the Bourne order due up as Christian Aiello back out on the mound for the start of the third. 2-1 ball game in game 2 of the West semis. Got a good one brewing. It felt like Bourne in the top of the second might break away big time again like they did yesterday, But Falmouth responded in the bottom of the second with a run of their own to cut Bourne's lead in half. Rustin Rigdon will lead things off here. Lefty-righty. Aiello's first pitch is a fastball that's called a strike. Not necessarily framed by the catcher Brooks. Either way, 0-1. Rigdon 0 for 1 today with a fly out to center. Aiello's pitch. Breaking ball in the dirt. Evens the count at 1 apiece.
And I think Aiello has to feel a lot more comfortable now. You had a rough second inning, but your team is showing that it will give you run support.
1-1 on Rigdon. Fastball misses outside. It's a good point to be made, and Falmouth is such an interesting team offensively, and most metrics should suggest they should be one of the best groups in the Cape League. 2-1 is a slider that backs in, misses out, 3-1. And they're fourth in runs, first in hits, but seventh in OPS. 3-1, fastball outside, ball 4. And Falmouth has opened up the Pandora's box here of putting Rustin Rigdon on base, one of the fastest guys on the Cape. Leadoff man reaches here for Bourne for the third consecutive inning.
And that's what you really have to limit. 3 walks already from Aiello. One of them came around to score in Berkeley Mabius last year. This is a Bourne team that can hit it well. You don't want to give them extra bases off of walks.
Lefty-lefty with Matt Bolton. The first pitch is roped into right field, and that's going to bounce in front of the right fielder, Gregor. Rounding second and heading to third is Rustin Rigdon. The throw comes in and gets cut off. Bolton's got a single that sends Rustin Rigdon from first to third, and Bourne's in business again with guys on the corners here and nobody out.
There's that speed you mentioned with Rigdon. Not even a chance to get him at third base. Not a ball hit very far out to right field. It just zipped past the first baseman. Putty quickly was down in the grass, but the speedster out of Vandy makes another runner in scoring position, and Bourne continues to threaten almost every time.
First and third for Costello, who's got a big fly today. Aiello's going to step off and throw to first in safely as Bolton. The walks are not necessarily something Aiello has had to deal with this season. Coming into this game, 15 strikeouts to just 2 walks in under 15 innings pitched. First pitch coming up. Here it is to Costello. Fastball at the outer half of the zone, nicely framed by Brooks, and it's 0-1. Luke and his brother Andrew have torn up the Cape League this season for the Braves. Andrew no longer with the team. Luke still riding it out. Aiello's 0-1. Misses in the dirt. What a pick there from Dallas Brooks. That one was right near the right foot of Costello, who did not back out of the box. But Brooks, with his glove in his left hand, just scooped it right up. And now we'll head out to the mound to talk to his pitcher, Aiello.
And you have to be careful here. Costello and Berkeley Mabius, who's next up, already have multiple extra base hits combined over this series. It's only game 2, inning 3, so they've proven they can hit a bunch of different pitchers that Falmouth has sent out here. That certainly makes you want to adjust your strategy a little bit.
Costello's already got 4 RBI in the series. He had a bases clearing triple last night. Maybe he's had a multi-hit game as well. 1-1. The pitch to Costello. Breaking ball just misses inside, about shin high. 2 balls and a strike. Nobody out with Matt Bolton on first and Rustin Rigdon on third. 2-1 Braves here, top 3. 2-1 pitch. Bolton goes to second. They throw down in safely. Rustin Rigdon's going to come home and score. It's 3-1 Braves on a steal of home. It's always a risky move with a catcher knowing that the runner's on third and still choosing to throw down to a stealing runner going to second. Brooks rolled the dice, and Rigdon snagged the bag. Everybody's safe as Bolton moves into scoring position. 2-2 upcoming. Aiello's pitch. Costello swings and misses at the high fastball. Grits his teeth as he saunters back to the dugout. 1 out here, but the score now 3-1. Aiello picks up his second strikeout.
And you'll remember back in the second inning, Osterhaus and Hawk stole third and second, and there was no throw because Falmouth didn't want that to happen, and it comes back to bite them in the third.
First pitch to Berkeley Mabius, fastball at the knees for strike 1 at 85. Braves get that 2-run lead back, which they had in the bottom of the second before the Doors got an RBI single from Dallas Brooks. 0-1 with Bolton on second, being held on by Luigi. The pitch, Mabius goes out and fishes at a slider in the dirt. It's 0-2. It's always funny to see the gear that these guys are wearing, as you got Mabius still rocking his neon green and yellow elbow guard and shin guard. He's not playing for the Ducks anymore. Next spring he'll be down in Starkville. 0-2, runner on second. Aiello takes a couple looks back. Here's his pitch to Mabius. Chopped to the left side, gloved by Braden Jeffers at third. He'll take the easy out at 1. Mabius is retired. Over to third moves Bolton. Good base running there from the Binghamton Bearcat. 2 outs now with the runner 90 feet away for Max Farrell.
Yeah, Jeffries checked to see if he might have a play on Bolton, but he had already bolted past it. Just such good speed out of the young ball player, and once again, just pressure put on by this Bourne team. It seems every single at bat.
Bolton bolted. Good alliteration from you, Alex.
Thank you.
Lefty-righty with Max Farrell at the plate. First pitch from Aiello. Fastball popped up into foul territory. It goes and just clears the fence here out of play at Gov Fuller Field. Farrell's 0 for 1 today with the fly out to center. Bourne knocking on the door again, looking for run number 4. Trying to end this playoff series a game early. They can steal a game here at the Gov. 0-1, 2 outs. Aiello's pitch. Farrell takes the slider above the zone at 74. 1-1 count coming up. Really nice night for baseball. 79 degrees. A little bit breezy. Sunny skies, although most of the Gov is covered by shade. There's all this tree cover that's behind home plate. 1-1 on Farrell. Breaking ball outside for ball 2. It's really only the first base stands that are getting what's left of the sun here tonight. The metal bleachers down that first base line. All the faces on the people sitting down there covered with the sun. 2-1, 2 outs, runner on third. Aiello's pitch to Farrell. Fastball misses outside. Brooks received the pitch and then took a look over at Matt Bolton on third. 3 balls and a strike, 2 outs. 1 run in this inning. That was when Rustin Rigdon stole home. 3-1. Aiello's pitch. Fastball on the inside corner. Runs it full.
Well, big score update from Katuitt. Hyannis has downed the Cavaliers 7-1, so half of this West Division final is now set.
That game's over?
Over.
So Hyannis will face the winner of this series. Interesting stuff. 3-2, the pitch. Fastball poked out in left center field. Peralta is racing for it, and he'll make the catch with a leap. That ends the frame, but not before Bourne gets another run. Rustin Rigdon, electric as ever, gets from first to third on a single and then comes home on a stolen base attempt. It's 3-1 Bravos here, heading to the bottom of the third. Falmouth Bats coming up next here on Cape League TV. Bottom of the third here at Gov Fuller Field. Thanks so much for joining us for Game 2 of the West semifinals here. Cape League Baseball on Wednesday night. What gets better than that? Well, Falmouth trying to get back in this game here. They got a run in the second, but then Bourne got another one in the top of the third. Now the top of this Commodores order comes up here against Ben Dean, who's back out on the mound for the Braves. Fabio Peralta steps in. Him and Braden Jeffries, who follows him, both struck out to start the bottom of the first. Third baseman Austin Hawk plays in on the grass. Rest of the infield a little bit shifted over. First pitch from Dean. Fastball popped up, left side, foul territory. Who wants it? Coming in is Osterhaus, but he can't make the catch. Falls in between the left fielder and the third baseman. That was a long run, almost getting towards the grassy knoll up there in foul territory in left field.
And you probably have less run to room than usual because of how many fans have packed out the grass down the left field side. So that could play an effect on possible foul territory balls.
It's a really good crowd here tonight at the Gov. 0-1 from Dean. Like a changeup that misses low and away. Peralta takes, and it's 1-1. A ball and a strike, righty-lefty. Dean from the stretch. Breaking ball hovers into the zone. Took something off of it, comes in at 79, it's 1-2.
He's raising that breaking ball a little bit, not working as much in the dirt now as he was the first 2 innings, but the effect has been perfect as well.
1-2, bases clear, nobody out. Dean's pitch, breaking ball, cut on and missed for strike 3. 5 strikeouts for Ben Dean as Peralta once again goes down swinging. That off-speed stuff is just absolutely filthy. And Peralta is no slouch at the top of that order. He goes down for the second time via the K. Comes Braden Jeffries now. 1 out here, bottom 3. 3-1. Bourne leads here in game 2. Righty-lefty again. Dean's first pitch. Jeffries watches a breaking ball tail inside for ball 1. Ben Dean going into his junior year at Duke. Originally out of Swansea, New Hampshire. 1-0. His second pitch. Breaking ball. Jeffries checks his swing. And the third base umpire says that he went around. Ball and a strike after that curveball in the dirt. Dean was a Cape League All-Star this season, but in 2025 at Dayton, which was his first school before Duke, he actually had a 7.7 ERA in 25 innings of work. It's an experience he reflected upon, said that he had really never dealt with failure before that. 1-1 pitch. Jeffries swings at a fastball and clips it right next to the lights and out of play in foul territory.
Well, that just shows you how much a change of scenery can help in sports. You go from that and then competing so well in both the ACC and the Cape League.
1-2 on Braden Jeffries. 1 out. Dean's pitch. Breaking ball tails outside. It was not until his summer with the Keene Swamp Bats in the NECBL last season where he garnered the nickname the Cheshire County Cannon after a sub-2 ERA with Keene. Cannon is firing at all cylinders here today. 2-2 with 1 out. The pitch to Braden Jeffries. Swing and a miss. He got him again. Estep will throw over to first on the drop third. 6 strikeouts for Ben Dean. And once again, it's that curveball. And even the best hitters in this Falmouth lineup just have no answer for it.
Yeah, 5 of these strikeouts are forward Ks, and I'm pretty sure 4 of those 5 have come on the breaking pitch. Even the top hitters in this lineup, Fabio Peralta, Jeffries right there, they've combined for 4 strikeouts. No one can hit him very well, and for a reliever turned starter, he's doing pretty darn well.
First pitch on A.J. Putty is a breaking ball that only went about 59 feet. Misses downstairs for ball 1. Putty is just one of 3 guys on this Falmouth team who have tagged Dean for a hit. He had a single back in inning number 1, although that was a ball that kind of hovered in the infield that Riker Waite maybe could have made a play on. 1-0, Dean's pitch. Fastball, Putty takes. Half-hearted swing, and it's 1-1. Comes in at 93. The other 2 hits for Falmouth today, a Matthew Farner double and a Dallas Brooks single that would later score Farner in the 2nd inning. Ball and a strike, 2 outs, space is clear. Here's the pitch to Putty. Fastball way behind it, and it's 1-2. 3-1. Bourne leads here on the road. Braves trying to take care of the doors in 2 and advance to the West Division Finals, where they have a date with Hyannis. 1-2. Dean ready. His pitch to Putty. Fastball grounded to the left side. Moving back on it is the shortstop Waite. He throws across, a bit of a short throw, and it gets by the first baseman Putty. Or the first baseman Farrell, I should say. Putty, the other first baseman, is now on first base. That ball was a bit of a knuckler, and Waite decided to lean back on it and did not really get that throw off correctly. And it was a bit short of the bag.
Yeah, because he took it so deep in the hole that didn't really have time to gather the ball and just whipped it across. Fell well in front of the first base bag. And once again, we've said it before, Falmouth has to take advantage of these mishaps of the Braves because there's so few of them. We'll see if they can do so here.
Runner on first for Tommy Harrison, who is the tying run. First pitch, breaking ball misses outside. 1 ball, no strikes. Still waiting for that scoring decision. Now it comes in as an E6 on the shortstop Waite. Putty on first, 2 outs. 1-0 pitch from Dean. Breaking ball, Harrison checks his swing. No call made yet. Second base umpire says that Harrison held, and it's 2-0. Harrison was Dean's 3rd strikeout victim. He's doubled that total since then. He fanned Peralta and Jeffries to start off the 3rd inning. Then A.J. Putty just reached on an error. First one for either team today. 2-0 on Harrison. Breaking ball hits him in the front foot. Luckily, he's got that silver shin guard, but still going to hurt a little bit nonetheless. Putty moves up to second. Harrison to first. And now Farner comes to the plate, who's 1 for 1 with an extra base hit.
Yeah, that's going to be the first time today that the Commodores have multiple men on the base paths at the same time. And because of that, Leaf Bigelow is going to come out and have a word with the right-hander.
The Bourne bullpen is not exactly active right now. There's a right-hander way down there who's got a ball in his hand, but he's not throwing. It's a full infield meeting on the mound here. It's a big spot in this game. First and second with 2 outs in the bottom of the 3rd. Bourne leads 3-1. They're going to leave Ben Dean in this game to face Matthew Farner for a 2nd time. He tagged him to lead off the 2nd inning, got a fastball through the zone, and found his way to second base on a double. Farner, we know, has that pop in his bat, as we've already seen today. We've seen throughout the summer. Runners take their leads. Dean sets at the belt. His first pitch. Farner pops it up. This one goes over our heads, but it's going to find some grass here in foul territory. 0-1. Every time. There's been a couple of balls that have been just clearing that netting, thinking it's going to be that 1 in a million chance where I have my hand, my chance to catch a foul ball with my bare hand. 0-1. Farner swings and misses at the breaking ball. Almost went down to a knee. 0-2. Putty on second, Harrison on first. First 2 men to bat in the inning struck out. What will Farner's fate be? Dean ready. His 0-2 pitch. Farner cracks a ball down the left field line. Foul. Might have broke his bat on that one. You can hear it from the sound that it made. They'll swap out a new one with Jeff Luigi.
Yeah, you didn't actually see any lumber start to fly, but immediately Farner knew something was off. He started to walk towards that home dugout. Now he'll have to finish this at bat with a new piece of lumber.
Farner, who was second team All-ASUN this past spring with North Florida. Now moving on to Georgia, where he'll be a Bulldog next spring. Can he come through here with first and second and 2 outs? Dean's 0-2 pitch. Fastball cut on and missed for strike 3. 7 strikeouts for Ben Dean. He has just mauled this Commodore order, and he strands a pair. Well, we played 3 complete innings here at the Gov, and the home Commodores have some work to do. Bourne's got a 3-1 lead as we head to the 4th. Good game coming up here in Game 2 of the West semifinals here on Cape League TV.
Jack it up.
We play to the 4th inning at Gov Fuller Field, game number 2 of the West Division semifinals. The Bourne Braves in command 3-1 over the home Falmouth Commodores, as Braves return to bat with 7, 8, and 9 against Christian Ayao, the same starter in the game still for the Commodores. Alongside Daniel Stein, I'm Alex Burstein. This Bourne offense has been busy the last 2 innings. Played a pair in the 2nd, 1 in the 3rd, and now Justin Osterhaus tries to start another rally in the 4th. Takes the first pitch, fastball high. It's 1-0 on the left-handed hitter out of Alabama. Next pitch, hit on the ground, down the first base line, snagged by Putty, who walks to the bag for out number 1. Really good play by the first baseman out of Illinois. Got down on one knee and made the glove side grab for the first out.
Yeah, that was way too nonchalant of a play from Putty to basically mask the fact that this was a very good play. Smoked off the bat of Osterhaus, and he just got it on one hop, took it to the bag.
Brings Alston Hawk to the plate. First pitch to the righty. Takes the fastball high and wide. 1 ball and no strikes on the Wake Forest Demon Deacon. Walked back in the 2nd inning, got the second base, but was stranded there after a stolen bag. The 1-0. Fastball clubbed in the air out to right field. Gregor goes back to the track, looks up, and makes the grab over his right shoulder. Gavin Gregor robs extra bases and a big defensive play for the Commodores in the top of the 4th. There's 2 away.
Well, Hawk's got a lot of pop on his bat, and this one kind of came out of nowhere. It's really hard to go opposite way at the Gov, and Gregor's had his fair share of struggles in right field, but he's also made a lot of good plays as well, and that one might be his best.
First pitch to Bryce Estep. The right-handed hitter takes the slider for a strike at the bottom of the zone. Just 71 miles per hour out of the hands of Aiello. And he places the breaking ball perfectly. Righty-righty matchup, 2 away, a 3-1 lead for the Braves in the top of the 4th. The 0-1. Another slider just misses outside, and the count evens out at 1 apiece. Estep making his postseason debut, was on the bench for Game 1 of this series, an 8-2 winner for the Braves. Aiello turns and fires, swing and a miss at the outside slider, as 1-2 the count. Aiello getting comfortable with his off-speed. All 3 pitches this at-bat have come via the slider. The 1-2. Estep swings and grounds it foul off to the left side.
And even though Bourne's winning this game and Aiello is theoretically on track for a loss here, I think he's doing his job because he's eating innings for a Falmouth team that has struggled pitching-wise, and ultimately this game is still within reach, just down 2.
3-1 the lead for the Braves. Aiello fires. Estep watches the fastball outside, 2-2. Estep already with 1 big at-bat today, a sac fly back in the 2nd inning. That allowed Berkeley Mabius to score the 2nd run, currently the winning run. 2-2. Slider dribbled foul to the left side of home plate. The winner of this game moves on to face the Hyannis Harbor Hawks if it's the Bourne Braves. However, if Falmouth wins it, force a Game 3 tomorrow night at Doran Park. The Harbor Hawks already a winner tonight, 7-1 over the Katuitt Kettleers. The 2 East Division games, the early matchups on this playoff slate. The 2-2. Estep takes the slider at his knees inside, and it's a full count. Patient at bat from the commit to play at South Carolina next year after 3 strong years with Coastal Carolina. Payoff pitch. Fastball zips outside, and a walk to a patient Bryce Estep means the inning plays on. Runner at first with 2 away, and now the top of the order with the switch hitting Riker Waite coming to the plate.
And the kind of location struggles continue for Aiello, and as we mentioned earlier, not a guy who walks a lot, but the pressure's on here, and Bourne, a very patient team in itself, 3rd most walks in the Cape League.
Aiello's first pitch. Waite takes the fastball at his waist for a strike, 0-1 the count. Aiello stares home, gets a sign from Dallas Brooks, now comes set at his belt, raises his glove, and comes home. Slider misses low and outside. 3rd plate appearance of the day for Riker Waite. He singled back in the 1st, but was out on a pickoff attempt, 1-3-6, an unorthodox pickoff. He also struck out in the 2nd. The 1-1 pitch. Hit in the air, deep out to left center field. White and Peralta give chase, and it drops on the warning track. Estep speeds around third. He gets the sign. The throw from second base is late. RBI double from Riker Waite. Scores Bryce Estep, and it's 4-1 Braves in the top of the 4th.
Well, I think everyone who's a Braves fan in this audience was kind of holding their breath because this was a pretty aggressive send for Estep, who's not the fleetest of foot. This was a pretty quick inbound from the Falmouth defense, but just a bit of a high throw from Farner at short kind of sold the bag on that one and allowed the 4th run to come across.
And that is the day for Christian Aiello. The left-hander commit to Jacksonville State. Mixed results through 3 2/3 innings. He exits the game down 4-1. New man on the mound. We'll get you all the details in just a second. It's a 4-1 Braves lead in game number 2 of the West Division semifinals. It's a postseason debut for Fisher Cantrell. The right-hander enters in a tough position, down 4-1 to the Bourne Braves, a runner in scoring position in the top of the fourth. Welcome back to Gov Fuller Field alongside Daniel Stein. I'm Alex Burstein. Cantrell set to work against Rustin Rigdon, the two-man for the Braves. Long wait, the first pitch. Rigdon misses inside with watches an inside fastball into 1-0 count. A loud firework out beyond center field startled most of the fans before that first pitch. Now normalcy returns to Gov Fuller Field. Lead off a second by Riker Waite. A long wait. Cantrell steps off the bag, throws to second, and it bounces off the glove of Farner, but everyone stays put. That was a weird play from Cantrell. He kind of hesitated before he threw, and Farner just wasn't ready for it.
Well, you got to be careful on that because obviously with the balk rules, you can't really keep that leg in the air too long, but he did sell it pretty quickly. He was stepping off, and Waite was already to the bag.
The 1-0 pitch. Fastball misses outside, and it's a 2-0 count on Rustin Rigdon. Already one run across home plate in this fourth inning for the Braves as the lanky Fisher Cantrell comes set. Stares at home. Now comes home. Fastball inside. 6'5", 185 pounds. Native of Shiloh, Georgia. It's a big reliever this past regular season for Falmouth. What can he do in the playoffs? His team in a do-or-die situation. He comes set, and the 3-0 pitch. Fastball misses high at the eyes of Rustin Rigdon, and that's a 4-pitch walk. There's 2 runners aboard with 2 outs in the top of the fourth.
Well, just the control issues continue here for Falmouth, who really are not a team that is used to issuing a lot of free passes via the walk. They don't really have to deal with that problem very often, but Aiello got bit by the free pass bug, and now Cantrell not starting off the best with a leadoff walk.
This next task is the left-handed Matt Bolton, already a hit today. First pitch, swing and a miss behind the 91-mile-per-hour heater, and it's a 0-1 count.
And Cantrell's best pitch is the fastball, which is not a burner like what we'll see with Ben Dean, but it's got a lot of movement to it, and I think that's where he can start to attack these Bourne hitters.
He sets at his belt, fires home. The 0-1 is fouled away off to the left side. A lot of range on that fastball. Goes anywhere from 91 to 95. Usually sits in the lower end of the 90s. He pairs a bunch of pitches with it. Cutter, slider, curveball, and a changeup for a 5-pitch mix. Cantrell ready for the 0-2. He fires. Runners go. Pitch inside. The throw down the third. Escapes past the third baseman, Jeffries. Waite on his way home. There's no throw. And the error provides another run for the Braves. It's 5-1 in the top of inning 4.
Just another decision from Dallas Brooks that I don't know if I agree with. I mean, it's the double steal again, and Bourne steals a lot of bases. You know, the decision might be okay, but the throw was just not. It was way further into left field than it should have been, and especially with Waite's speed, he's going to score every time.
That's the first error of the day against the Commodores. Still a 1-2 count on Bolton. Next pitch, runner goes again. Swing and a miss, strike 3. It won't matter. And 3 outs finally for the Commodores in the top of the fourth, but not before another pair of runs come across the plate. 2 runs off of 1 hit, no errors, and 1 runner stranded. It's all Bourne Braves. They're a few innings away from clinching a championship series spot in the West Division. Don't go anywhere. You're listening to Cape League Baseball on Cape League TV. All Braves as we go to the bottom of the 4th inning. Bourne ahead of Falmouth 5-1 in Game 2 of this West Division semifinal series. A win tonight, and the Braves on to the West Division finals. Ben Dean in for a 4th inning of work. He has dealt so far 7 strikeouts through 3 innings. And the right-hander out of Duke now goes against the 6, 7, and 8 hitters for the Commodores in the last of inning 4. That task begins with Carter White, the left-hander, transfer portal commit to Mississippi State. Slowly walks into the lefty's batter's box, digs into the dirt, and now awaits the first offering from Dean. A hard-throwing righty has given the Commodores troubles all night long. He sets and the first pitch. Fastball hit in the air. Behind home plate, Estep drops his mask, reaches up, and makes the grab. Oh, and he dropped it at the end. Estep almost had it. The ball was in the end of his glove, but trickled out. And a strike is the end result for Carter White.
It's a ball you just got to make a play on, and Estep's got really good defensive skills. But again, the wind is kind of playing an interesting factor today. It's not as choppy as it was earlier today, but that ball was just swirling and swirling.
So it's an 0-1 count on Carter White. Dean takes a deep breath, comes home. Fastball called for a strike on the bottom outside corner, 0-2 the count. White already a line out today to left field on a hard hit ball. Does he have an answer for Ben Dean, who's been so great today? The 0-2. Breaking ball loses control in the dirt. And it's a 1-2 strike count. (5-1) Bourne ahead of Falmouth. Game 2 of this first round set in the Cape League playoffs. The 1-2 pitch. Breaking ball misses at the feet of White, and the count evens out at 2 apiece. So some good plate discipline here from Carter White. Early on, that pitch got a ton of swings from the Commodores, but they're starting to figure out Ben Dean. Now the question is, can you put some hits in play? Only 3 of them through 3 innings. Dean stares as PitchCom. Gets the call. Now sets and fires. Fastball hit in the air to short left field. The shortstop Waite camps under it and makes the grab right behind second base for out number 1.
Yeah, he kind of gives Estep an excuse for the error which he got during that at-bat for dropping that pop-up in foul territory. But again, I mean, you think you're kind of getting a little better if you're Falmouth putting the ball in play as opposed to striking out. But when Dean elevates that fastball, the Commodores just haven't really been able to climb the ladder and go get it.
Righty-lefty matchup with Jeff Luigi at the plate. First pitch, fastball misses outside, and a 1-0 count. Luigi still searching for his first hit of the postseason. 0 for 2 last night. He struck out in his first plate appearance tonight. Ahead in the count, 1-0. Dean fires. Breaking ball loops outside, and Luigi comfortably ahead in the count, 2-0. Busy night across the Cape League. All 8 teams in action that made the postseason. One game already final. Hyannis defeats Catuit to move on to the West Division Finals. They face off against one of these teams. Who will it be? The 2-0 pitch. Luigi swings and fouls it back behind home plate. A win tonight for Bourne. It'll be Hyannis and Bourne competing in Game 1 at McKeon Park. If Falmouth can win this one and go into Doran Park tomorrow and upset the Braves, it would be Falmouth and Hyannis on Friday at McKeon Park for Game 1. 2-1 the count on Luigi. Dean comes home. Fastball swing and a miss. 92-mile-per-hour heater to the bottom of the zone. Tricks Luigi, and the count runs even. The other action tonight in the Eastern Division, Brewster and Harwich, scoreless in the 4th. YD and Chatham, scoreless in the 2nd. 2 balls, 2 strikes. 1 away, a 5-1 lead for Bourne in the bottom of the 4th. The pitch. Fastball misses high and outside. Estep has to leap up to keep that one from the backstop.
That YD Chatham series is really interesting. Chatham won that first game, and fairly convincing fashion at Red Wilson Field, and YD for a long time the runaway best team in the league on its back foot in an elimination game.
Full count on Jeff Luigi. Bases empty with one away. The offering. Fastball hit foul to the left side. Ricochets off the protective netting and falls on top of the Bourne dugout along the third base line. So we'll do the 3-2 again. It's been all chalk in the West so far. In the East, the lower seed has won every game. Another payoff. Fastball line the other way. It drops down in right field. Luigi takes a big swing around first base, but he retreats back. And that's a one-out single for the Commodores, just their 4th hit of the day, and Falmouth's offense back in business.
Well, this is what you're going to have to do against Dean. You're going to have to get comfortable in hitting with 2-strike counts, and that's just what Luigi does. He does get the elevated fastball, and this time he gets around to it, pulls it just over the glove of Rustin Rigdon. There's your one-out base runner.
Now it's the left-handed Dallas Brooks at the plate. First pitch. Slider called for a strike on the inner third against Brooks. 4 lefties end the lineup for this Commodores team. 6, 7, 8, and 9. Brooks, the 8-man for this Commodore squad. Down in the count, 0-1. His teammate Luigi at first base. The 0-1 from Dean. Bounces in the dirt. Estep picks it up. Throw down the second on the steal attempt is late. Luigi has his stolen bag, and there's a runner in scoring position for just the 3rd time today for the Commodores.
That was an interesting play because Luigi got a bit of a slower jump taken off from first, and Estep double clutch. He really triple clutched this one, had the ball in his hand for a while, and then threw over very late. I think he was a little bit questioned as to why Brooks didn't move out of his way, but there's nothing that the catcher can do about that.
Count now even, 1-1. Swing and a miss on the low breaking ball. And the count now 1-2 on Dallas Brooks. An RBI single back in the second. He's responsible for the lone run today for this Commodores team. Scored Matthew Farner. Down in the count, 1-2. Dean comes home. Breaking ball left inside and low. A good take from Dallas Brooks. 5-1, the Braves lead, bottom of the 4th from Gov Fuller Field. The first playoff game here in Falmouth since August 5th, 2023, 3 days ago to the date. That was a losing effort for the Commodores and extra innings to the Harbor Hawks. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 1 away. Luigi takes his lead off a second. Dean stares at him, now fires home. Breaking ball bounces off the equipment of Estep. Luigi gets to third, takes a big twirl around the base, but retreats back to the bag on the wild pitch.
Oh, that was a pretty close call because that ball bounced near the net, which protects the ball boy in the Falmouth dugout. And when the home plate umpire called time, I thought that there might have been a chance that he was going to award Luigi home because he made that big turn around third. I think it's the right call to keep him there, but that could have been a disaster for Bourne.
So a full count on Dallas Brooks, a man at third base. Payoff pitch. Fastball bounced over to second base. Rigdon gets it on a low hop, throws to first, but the run comes home to score. Jeff Luigi makes it 5-2 off the RBI ground out from Dallas Brooks, and this Falmouth team slowly starts to eke back into this contest.
These are the kinds of at-bats where I kind of wonder why Brooks isn't hitting higher in the lineup. I know he's a catcher, and by traditional baseball standards, you want to have him lower, but he's got 2 RBI today. That's the only 2 runs batted in that Falmouth has, and that time his job's just very simple. Put it in play, and he did just that.
Lefty Gavin Greger at the plate. First offering. Fastball zips outside. And it's a 1-0 count on the future Rutgers Scarlet Knight. Greger played 5 games for Falmouth last summer. Came back in a much bigger role in 2026. Now in the postseason. 1-0. Fastball called for a strike at the knees. And the count even at 1 apiece. We've seen Gregor in the late part of the season play as both a right fielder and a center fielder. Tonight he makes the start in right, Fabio Peralta in center. Dean comes home with the 1-1. Slider misses low, and it's a 2-1 count. Already one run across home plate in the bottom of the fourth for the Commodores, who trail 5-2 in a winner-go-home game number 2 of this West Division semifinal series. Dean comes set at his belt. A deep breath and the pitch home. Fastball hit high in the air, foul off to the left side. Bourne's offense has been hot. 2 runs in the second, 1 in the third, 2 in the fourth. So this Falmouth team knew it needed to score. Already 1 across home plate in this inning. Is there more? The base is empty. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 away. Dean readies and fires. Gregor behind the off-speed. Strikeout number 8 on the day for Ben Dean, and the fourth comes to a close. 1 run off of 1 hit, no errors, and no one stranded. Bourne still comfortably ahead 5-2 as we go to the 5th at Gov Fuller Field. Don't go anywhere. You're listening to Cape League Playoff Baseball on Cape League TV. Heart of the order for the Braves as they go to bat in the top of the 5th inning. Game 2 of this West Division semifinal series. Bourne ahead 5-2 over the Falmouth Commodores. So alongside Daniel Stein, I'm Alex Burstein. Fisher Cantrell back on the mound. His second inning of work begins against a right-handed Luke Costello. First pitch from the righty. Slider misses low, and it's 1 ball and no strikes on Luke Costello. Costello has the big hit today, a home run back in the second that gave the Braves an early 1-0 lead. Cantrell turns and fires home. Fastball zips low and outside, a 2-0 count. Costello's had a big start to the Cape League playoffs. His first triple of the season last night, his first home run of the season tonight. 2-0 pitch. Costello watches the slider to the outer third for a strike. 2 balls and 1 strike on Costello. He was honest after last night's game, said the last month has been a struggle. As he awaits the 2-1. Fastball hit foul behind home plate. Sounds like that may have hit another car. You see fans get a little more worried every time there's a big thump to the parking lot behind our shoulders along the first base line. It really is an unfortunate setting for a parking lot right next to a diamond. The 2-2. Costello battles back a fastball, and it's into the net glove of Brooks. First strikeout, second strikeout of the day for Fisher Cantrell, and there's 1 down in the top of the 5th.
Yeah, it's a little strange for Costello. You really thought that he was going to be on pace for a good game after that home run in inning number 2, but since then he struck out swinging twice. So credit to the Commodores for figuring him out after that first at-bat.
The left-handed Berkeley Mabius comes to the plate. First pitch from the righty Cantrell. Fastball poked right in front of home plate, and it drops foul on a one-hopper. No balls and a strike on Mabius. That was a weird play. Brooks got up immediately. He thought that he grabbed the baseball in front of home plate, which would render it possibly a fair ball, but home plate umpire Joe Gravina says not so fast, and Mabius down in the count early. The lanky Cantrell sets his black glove at his face, turns and throws home. Fastball misses high and wide, 1 ball and 1 strike.
This is what we're seeing out of Cantrell again when we last saw these guys here at the Gov. That fastball just picks up velocity the longer he's pitching.
He turns and fires the 1-1. Slider clips off the shoulder of Mabius. A hit-by pitch, the first of the day by the Commodores pitching staff, and gives up a free pass to the Bourne Braves in the top of the 5th. That's what you don't want to do when the Braves already in control, up 5-2 in the top of the 5th inning. And you face off against a hot bat in Max Farrell. San Diego State Aztec hitting .300 on the season, though he has flied out to center field twice. Pickoff attempt to first base, maybe is back in time. Farrell making his second stop of the summer, begin his time in the NECBL. As the first pitch, fastball way high and inside, an appeal down, and first base umpire Robert McHugh says that Farrell held off on the check swing. 1 ball and no strikes on the righty. With the Ocean State Waves, 31 games played for Farrell. And he impressed enough to make his way to the Cape for the final 2 weeks. 1-0, slider misses outside, and the count now 2 balls and no strikes on the right-handed hitter. Pretty impressive for Farrell, just a freshman to make his way onto the Cape for the playoffs. He was really good in his first year with San Diego State. Another pickoff attempt to first. Mabius dives back in time.
Yeah, first team All Mountain West, and a guy who was the preseason freshman of the year, hit .300 for San Diego State, including 7 long balls.
All good numbers. The 2-0. Misses high. Throw down the first, not in time. Mabius is taking moderate leads off of first, and this Commodores defense really wants him off the base paths. We've already seen a pair of pickoff attempts from Cantrell on the mound, and now Brooks gets in on the fun. Mabius back in time each of the tries. 3 balls and no strikes on Farrell. Cantrell fires home. Fastball down the heart of the zone for a strike.
Yeah, Mabius is quick for a catcher. I mean, he's got 8 career stolen bases across his 2 seasons at Oregon, but ultimately, if you can just roll a ground ball here, you're out of the jam.
1 on, 1 away. Next pitch. Fastball at the eyes of Farrell for a ball. And that's number 4. Max Farrell draws the 5-pitch walk, and there's 2 aboard with just 1 out in this top of the 5th inning.
Yeah, Bourne just continues to do what the Braves have done. This is not the power-centric Bourne lineup like we've seen in previous seasons in the Scott Landers era, but these guys are still producing. I mean, top 5 in walks, and they continued to get those walks. They got 4 of them against Aiello. They got 2 of them against Cantrell here.
Lefty Justin Osterhaus at the plate. The right-handed Cantrell fires home. Fastball clubbed in the air out to right field. Gregor back at the track. He looks up and it flies. That's a 3-run shot for Justin Osterhaus, his first of the season. And it's all Bourne Braves, 8-2 in the top of the 5th.
Yeah, all game long, it felt like Bourne was just kind of getting an inch away from the game-breaking hit, and now they got it. This was a no-doubter from Osterhaus, who we know has a lot of power from the SEC. Gregor's a good fielder out and right, but nothing he can do. And Jack Dom's going to head out there now, too. He's already indicated for the pen. That's just, I mean, that is a backbreaker for Falmouth. I mean, we've talked about how their pitching has really struggled this season, but I really do think they got a pretty solid start out of Christian Aiello. Cantrell looked like he was maybe on his way to getting through a scoreless fifth, but just then the freebies hitting Mabius and then walking Farrell really not helping his case, and he gets tagged for the home run, and now Bourne has pretty firm control over this one.
Just 2/3 of an inning pitched for the right-hander, and that's a call to the pen for the Commodores. 8-2, all Bourne in Game 2 of this West Division semifinal. They're well on their way to another division championship berth. We'll take a quick step aside. Don't go anywhere. You're listening to Cape League Baseball on Cape League TV.
Jack it up.
Another postseason debut as Cal Travers heads to the mound. The left-hander out of Longwood tries to keep it at an 8-2 deficit for the Falmouth Commodores against the Bourne Braves in Game 2 of the West Division semifinals. Alongside Daniel Stein, I'm Alex Burstein. Fisher Cantrell chased after just 2/3 of an inning pitch. The fastball misses outside. Travers got his part of the Big South tournament in the semifinals, was the starting pitcher, had 8 strikeouts and 6 shutout innings and got the win. So he's used to these high leverage positions. The 3-1. Hawk swings and lines it out to center field, drops fair for a base hit. Austin Hawk has his first hit of the day, and the strong inning continues for the Commodores.
Yeah, second hit of the inning for the Braves, and you look at the 5 that have hit in this inning, 4 of them have reached. It's got to be encouraging though too, because the one guy who hasn't reached is Luke Costello, who's arguably been their best hitter that's still here on this team. So the fact that the bottom of the order is doing all this damage definitely bodes well.
Right-handed Bryce Estep at the plate, first a pickoff attempt over the first, and Hawk walks back to the bag in time. Estep's had a nice day at the plate as the 9-hitter. Sac fly in the second. That scored the game's second run. He walked in the fourth, came around to score. Another pickoff attempt. Hawk back safely. After Estep, it's the top of the order, beginning with Riker Wade. 8-2 Bourne the lead over Falmouth in game number 2 of this West Division semifinal series. First pitch. Estep cranks it in the air out to right center field. Gregor and Peralta come in. Gregor dives, and he can't make the grab. Hawk walks to second base. It's a single for Bryce Estep. Gregor dove out in shallow right center field. It looked like his glove was there around the right time, but it just trickles a little bit in front of him. Slow to get up. He looks okay. And now there's 2 runners aboard with just 1 away in the bottom of in the top of inning 5.
Just gets bad to worse for Falmouth, and this is a tough play, but Gregor has to travel a long distance for it. Feels like it was probably closer to Peralta's ball, but Scott Lander's already going to his bench here, bringing in Milano to hit for Riker Wayne.
Gabriel Milano, the left-handed hitter out of Miami, awaits the first pitch from the lefty Travers. It's on its way. Slider called for a strikeout on the inner third. Nice off-speed from Travers to go ahead in the count. Hawk at second base, Bryce Estep at first. Milano was the starting designated hitter last night. Comes a bench in game 2. 0-1. Bounces in the dirt. Evens out the count at 1 apiece. Just wrapped up his freshman season with Miami. Milano played in 28 games and had some big moments, hitting .313. Travers comes set at his belt. Looks towards second. Now fires the 1-1. Fastball swing and a miss. Strike 2. Milano couldn't catch up to the heater. Hawk at second base, Estep at first on a picture-perfect night for baseball at Gov Fuller Field. Bourne trying to clinch another spot in the West Division Finals, up 8-2. The 1-2 pitch. Milano watches the fastball called strike 3 to the bottom outside corner. Travers registers his first out on the backwards K, and there's 2 down in the top of the 5th.
Yeah, just paints the fastball. Doesn't come in super hard, just comes in at 89, but lefty-lefty. Fastball outside corner is always difficult. That's a good out to just get yourself out of this hole here.
Rustin Rigdon, switch hitter, bats from the right side. First pitch. Fastball called for a strike on the outer third. Travers doesn't work with too much velocity. That fastball sitting 88-89 right now, but already has 1 strikeout. Does he have another to bring this inning to a close? 2 men aboard, already 3 runs across home plate this inning for the Commodores. The 0-1. Hit in the air out to center field. Peralta charges in and makes the grab on the run for out number 3. But it's a loud top of the 5th inning for the Bourne Braves. A 3-run shot for Justin Osterhaus, and the Braves in control. 8-2, we played to the bottom of the 5th. Don't go anywhere, you're listening to Cape League Baseball on Cape League TV. On to the bottom of the 5th inning, the Bourne Braves up 8-2 over the Falmouth Commodores in Game 2 of the West Division semifinals. And with that, the Braves make a call to the pen as Maddox Webb comes in to relieve Ben Dean after a very impressive 4 innings for the right-hander out of Duke. Now it's the Mississippi State product's turn to come to the mound.
Yeah, Webb, a guy who's coming off of a really good year at Mississippi State. Pitched just over 25 innings for the Bulldogs with a sub-4 ERA, which is pretty dang tough to do in the SEC. Also has a couple of seasons of experience at the Citadel. And Webb is another guy that we saw when we did the Bourne-Falmouth game a couple weeks ago.
Fastball, slider, cutter, the rotation for Webb. He goes against the top of the order of the Commodores, beginning with the left-handed Fabio Peralta. The righty Webb fires. Fastball, swing and a miss, 92 to the top of the zone. A fast start to the day for Maddox Webb. 6'2", 195 pounds out of Somerville, South Carolina. The lanky righty fires. Another fastball, swing and a miss. 91 above the zone, but Peralta behind it. And now an 0-2 count quickly on the Miami Hurricane. Webb picking right up where Ben Dean left off. He was firing fastball strikes all evening long. The 0-2. Peralta swings and fouls it off behind home plate. Dean's final line, 4 innings pitched. He gave up 4 hits and a pair of runs, did not walk anyone, and 8 strikeouts out of the 12 outs he recorded. Webb turns, fires the 0-2. Breaking ball bounces in the dirt and comes back right in front of us. If there wasn't any netting there, we might get a foul ball.
Well, my heart skipped a beat for a second because that ball bounced off the plate and then I think bounced off Estep's foot. And it took a high hop that I thought might clear the fence for a second.
1 ball and 2 strikes on the lefty. Next pitch. Fastball, swing and a miss. Peralta tried to hold off the 93-mile-per-hour heater, but his weight carried him around, and there's 1 down off the K from Maddox Webb.
Yeah, so far it just doesn't really seem like the Commodores hitters are prepared for the fastball at all or really seem prepared for any kind of velocity. And obviously having a guy like Dean and Webb who both throw hard is a luxury in the Cape League, but still, you know, Peralta's a guy who plays in the ACC. He should be able to catch up to the high fastball.
Lefty Braden Jeffries at the plate. First pitch. Fastball misses inside. 1-0 on the Michigan Wolverine, who's having a awfully quiet night for a .340 hitter. Strikeout in the first, strikeout in the third. This comes after a 2-for-4 performance in game number 1. The 1-0. Fastball hit in the air out to left center field. It drops fair for a base hit. Jeffries aboard with a single. Hit number 5 on the night for the Commodores. Can they do something with it? Down 8-2 in the bottom of the 5th.
And Alex, I'm no scout, but I'm pretty convinced that they're going to be calling this guy's name pretty early next year in the draft because not only was he great at Michigan this past season, he's arguably been better against better competition here on the Cape. And just, it seems like every Falmouth game we do, Braden Jeffries just finds the grass consistently. And he's got a hit here today.
A .340 regular season hitter that was top 3 in the Cape League. First pitch to A.J. Putty. The righty takes a fastball in the dirt. 1-0 the count. Putty has had a nice day today. A single in the first, reached via an error in the third, but he has not gotten past second base in either of his at-bats. Webb waits, now fires the 1-0. Fastball dips inside and a 2-0 count on Putty. 8-2, the Braves lead over the Commodores in what would be a series-clinching win for Bourne should they hold out for a few more innings. Jeffries, a relaxed lead off of first base. Webb comes home. 2-0 fastball catches the bottom part of the zone for a strike. A.J. Putty's used to big postseason performances, had an RBI single in the Big Ten tournament this past spring against Purdue. Does he have a big hit in the Cape League postseason? Down, up in the count, 2-1. The pitch. Curveball misses outside. 3 balls and a strike. Maddox Webb already a strikeout and a single given up in his first 2 batters faced in the postseason. The 3-1. Putty pounds it out to left field and it ducks down for a base hit. A.J. Putty aboard, and that's back-to-back base hits for this Commodores team with just 1 away in the bottom of the 5th.
Yeah, well, I've been saying that these Commodore hitters need to do a better job of turning around the fastball, and that's exactly what they've been doing. Jeffries was a little bit in between it, but was able to find the left center field grass with his single. Putty, a much more solid piece of hitting that time, as I believe Scott Landers will take a trip out there. He hasn't motioned for the pen yet, so I think that they're going to let Webb see this one out.
Scott Landers doing the mound visits tonight. This is the second time he has done it instead of the pitching coach in Leaf Bigelow. There's someone you want to trust in these big moments to tell the pitcher the right thing, though. It's probably Scott Landers.
Right, Landers, I mean, he's just one of the most decorated Cape League coaches ever, really, in just 5 seasons. But this is an interesting part of the game now that I'm looking forward to, is how is Landers going to manage the rest of this now with this 6-run lead? Because you know that Connor Lehman's not going to be available today. He pitched multiple innings yesterday. I think Jackson Kircher would be, because he got the final 3 outs last night, but he only pitched an inning. But you also see Riker Waite already out of this game.
Lefty Tommy Harrison at the plate. First pitch. Curveball misses low, and it's 0-1 count. Yeah, that's where things get interesting in the postseason. You also have a comfortable lead. Maybe you want to conserve some arms for the next series, should they advance against the top-seeded Hyannis Harbor Hawks. 1 ball, no strikes on Tommy Harrison. Webb winds up and fires. Slider catches the outer third, and the count evens out at 1 apiece. A.J. Putty at first base, Braden Jeffries at second. Just 1 away in the bottom half of the 5th inning. Does Falmouth have one last push to try to save their season? Down 1-0 in this best-of-3 set. The 1-1. Harrison takes the fastball for a strike at the bottom part of the zone, and it's a 1-2 count. Matthew Farner on deck, Carter White in the hole for the Commodores. Harrison walks back into the lefty's batter's box, stares at Webb, who sets and fires. Fastball clubbed foul to the left side.
It's also interesting to see that there were a whole lot of defensive changes that Bourne made. You now have Gabriel Milano at first, with Rustin Rigdon going to short, Justin Osterhaus going from left to second, and then Max Farrell going out to left, with obviously the shortstop Riker Waite coming out of the game.
A lot of changes for Bourne, conserving some talent. The 1-2 from Webb. Curveball just misses outside. Almost a crafty breaking ball from the righty, but the count runs even at 2 apiece. Bourne, winners of 4 of the last 5 championships. 2-2. Swing and a miss on the slider. Harrison caught swinging on the inside pitch, and there's 2 down in the bottom of the 5th.
Yeah, I mean, he's got that slider, but he throws it hard, and it doesn't have the most horizontal movement, but vertically, it's just got that quick dip, and especially when you throw it to a lefty like Harrison, who's probably sitting fastball in a 2-strike count, it's just really effective. And so now it comes down to Farner, who's otherwise had a pretty solid game.
A double back in the second, the lone extra base hit for this Commodores team. Righty-righty matchup, the first pitch. Slider, swing and a miss. It worked against the lefty. It works against a right-handed hitter as well. and an 0-1 count. Still Braden Jeffries at second base, AJ Putty at first. Webb sets at his belt, fires home. Off speed left high, and the count evens out at 1 apiece. This would be pretty disastrous for the Commodores, who have strung together 2 singles in this 5th inning, down by 6. If you can't place a runner home, that won't work well for Falmouth. The 1-1. Fastball swing and a miss. Farner chases the high heat, and he's down in the count 1-2. 2 runners aboard, 2 away in the last of the 5th inning from Gov Fuller Field. Does Matthew Farner have a big hit, or can Webb get out of the frame with no damage done? The Mississippi State Bulldog steps off the mound and a balk awarded. Webb is arguing his case with second base umpire Sam Finn. He didn't think he fully came set, was trying to catch his breath as he walked behind home plate, or behind the pitcher's mound. But instead, Jeffries gets the third, AJ Putty the second, and now a big opportunity for Farner with 2 runners in scoring position. 1 ball and 2 strikes on the right-handed commit to Georgia. Webb gets the sign from his PitchCom device, comes home, swing and a miss. Webb with his 3rd strikeout of the inning, and he strands 2 runners in scoring position in the bottom of the 5th. Still 8-2. Bourne's defense doing what it needs to do. A big lead over the Commodores as we trend to the 6th. Don't go anywhere. You're listening to Cape League Baseball on Cape League TV. We play to inning 6 at Gov Fuller Field. The Bourne Braves in command over the Falmouth Commodores in Game 2 of the West Division semifinals. An 8-2 lead for Bourne, who are just 4 innings away from clinching a spot in the West Division finals. Alongside Daniel Stein, I'm Alex Burstein. Bourne back to bat in the top of the 6th, and it's the heart of the order, 3, 4, and 5. Beginning with the left-handed Matt Bolden against the lefty Cal Travers. Travers finished out the 5th inning. What can he do in inning 6? Turns and fires the first pitch. Bolton watches the changeup low and a 1-0 count. Travers came in with 1 out in the 5th and got 2 important outs without giving up a run. The 1-0. Fastball misses high and inside. A 2-0 count quickly for Matt Bolton. The big damage done right before Travers came into the game. A 3-run shot by Justin Osterhaus over the right field wall to score Max Farrell and Berkeley Mabius. The 2-0. Bolton swings and pummels it foul to the left side.
And again, the problem for Falmouth today has been the free passes. You get 6 of them combined between Aiello and Cantrell. That's been really the worst bite today for Falmouth, pitching-wise.
2-1 pitch. Bolton shows bunt, lays it perfectly right in front of home plate. Brooks gobbles it, throws to first just in time. The speedy Bolton almost had an infield bunt single, but Brooks' good reaction speed. The catcher gets the out on a 2-3.
Yeah, that was an ambush there, as Bolton really didn't make any intention to bunt before that pitch, and if that ball just rolled a couple steps closer to the infield grass, he easily legs that one out, but nice play there from Brooks.
So it's one away for the righty Lou Costello. Travers stares home and fires the first pitch. Fastball swing and a miss on a 3/4 swing from Lou Costello. You could tell he tried to hold off at the last moment, but his bat comes around, and he's down in the count early. Home run back in the second inning, the big hit for the righty. 0-1 pitch. Costello swings, grounds it sharply to the left side. Backhanded by Farner, the shortstop. One hops it to first in time. Nice play from the future Georgia Bulldog, and there's 2 down quickly in the top of inning 6.
Now, Alex, we've gotten to our fair share of Commodores games this summer, and the one consistent factor with this Commodores team has been Farner's defense. I mean, he is an elite defensive shortstop, and it was a good play from Putty there at first. That wasn't the best throw. It was a little low, but Putty was able to pick it out.
Switch hitting Berkeley maybe as bats from the right side. First pitch. Bounced over to the left side, gloved by the third baseman Jeffress, who swings it to first in time. And that's a 1-2-3 top of inning 6 for the Commodores defense. Still an 8-2 lead for Bourne. We played to the last of inning 6. Don't go anywhere. You're listening to the Cape League Playoffs on Cape League TV.
Jack it up.
We play to the last of the 6. Commodores need some quick runs, down 8-2 in Game 2 of the West Division semifinals right here on Cape League TV. Alongside Daniel Stein, I'm Alex Burstein. Maddox Webb stays in for a second inning of work, and he goes against the 6, 7, and 8 hitters, beginning with the left-handed Carter White. Quiet day for White, a line out in the second, a pop out over to the shortstop in inning 4. Does he have a rally igniter in the 6th? Webb's first pitch. Fastball hit high in the air, out to right center field. It ducks down quickly. Costello runs in and makes the grab. Loud off the bat of Carter White, but it died out in right center field. And a good play by the future South Carolina Gamecock for the first out.
Yeah, first pitch swinging there from Carter White, but it was a little bit in on the hands as he got it out into shallow right. I thought that this ball was going to land between Osterhaus and Costello, but it just kept carrying. And again, the wind is a consistent factor today. It's kind of steadily blowing out towards the outfield.
Brings the lefty Jeff Luigi to the plate. Webb's first pitch. Slider called for a strike on the inner third. 0-1 the count. Luigi singled in the 4th. Came around to score after advancing on a pair of wild pitches. Both thrown by Ben Dean. Webb's 0-1. Fastball zips into the zone for a strike. 91-mile-per-hour heater from the righty. Webb's been efficient thus far. Gave up 2 hits in the 5th, but stranded both runners. Already 3 strikeouts for the hard-throwing righty. He twirls the 0-2. Slider, swing and a miss. That's strikeout number 4, Luigi. Down with a K, and there's 2 down quickly in the last of the 6.
Yeah, I mean, you can definitely start to see a pattern with the type of pitchers that Scott Landers brings in, and you could argue that it's a guy who has a good fastball with a killer breaking ball as well. I would just call it that he's just recruiting dogs out there on the mound, because Webb right there, you have that low to mid-90s fastball, but you also have the breaking ball that's pretty lethal on 2 strike counts.
First pitch to the lefty, Brooks. Fastball called strike at the knees of Brooks for an 0-1 count. Webb's a double dog. He's also a Mississippi State Bulldog. He's been dealing 4 strikeouts through his first 7 batters faced. The 0-1. Brooks lines it up the middle, drops to the ground. Rigdon gets it at second and darts it across the diamond in time for the 3rd out. 1-2-3 inning induced by Maddox Webb. Bourne keeps on rolling, up 8-2 as we move to the 7th at Gov Fuller Field. Don't go anywhere. You're listening to Cape League Playoff Baseball on Cape League TV. On to the 7th, all Bourne Braves in Game 2 of the West Division semifinals. Bourne leads 8-2 over the Falmouth Commodores. Welcome back to Gov Fuller Field alongside Daniel Stein. I'm Alex Burstein. Cal Travers stays in for a 3rd inning of work. He works against the 5, 6, and 7 hitters, beginning with Max Farrell in the 7th. Travers worked a really clean 6. 3 up, 3 down. That's the first time that the Braves have had that offensively today. There was just 3 batters in the first, but started off with a single and then a pickoff attempt. See if Max Farrell can do anything against the left-handed pitcher out of Longwood. Righty-lefty matchup. First pitch. Fastball below the knees and outside. 1-0 the count. Farrell out of San Diego State just wrapped up his true freshman season, making a late season impact with the Braves. The 1-0. Fastball misses high and inside, and a 2-0 count quickly.
You think about some of the reasons why Bourne is one of the top teams in this Cape League, and Scott Landers is obviously part of it, but another reason is just they continue to add guys so late into the season.
2-0 pitch. Farrell watches it outside, and now a 3-0 count on the right-handed hitter. And continuously, Landers has been heralded as the best second-half recruiter in the Cape League. He gets a lot of top talent for the last few weeks of the season, showing once again. The 3-0. Misses low. 4-pitch walk to Max Farrell to begin the top of the 7th, and there's 1 aboard for the Braves.
We talked about it way back in June on the first episode of Inside the Cape League, where one of the reasons why Bourne is so consistently good is because not only do they bring in guys late into the season, but also they bring guys to return. So Landers now being here for about 5 years, half a decade, brings this steady stream of people who are here for a second season.
Lefty Justin Osterhaus at the plate. First pitch, bounces in the dirt, gets away from Brooks off the second base, Farrell in safely. First wild pitch of the day for Cal Travers, and there's a runner in scoring position for the Braves in the top of the 7th. Osterhaus, a guy who is facing off against his former team in the postseason. You don't hear that a lot in the collegiate summer ball ranks. 1-0 pitch. Fastball swing and a miss, trying to dig out the low heater. Osterhaus behind in the count, or now even in the count, 1-1. 35 games for the Commodores last season. Now he switches over to the Braves for 2026. 1 ball, 1 strike, runner at second base. The pitch. Swing and a foul tip off the glove of Brooks. And now a 1-2 count on Osterhaus.
Yeah, not the only guy to go from Falmouth to Bourne on this Braves team, although he's not currently here. Mark Quattrani did the same thing last year. Don't see that, though, on the Cape. Very often when there are guys who play 1 year and they decide to return, they go back to that same team.
Not the case for Osterhaus, who's down in the count 1-2. The pitch. Misses low and outside. Osterhaus blasted his first home run of the season back in the 5th inning. A 3-run shot deposited over the right field wall. He also singled in the second. It's been a very solid 2-for-3 night for the infielder out of Bama. 2-2 count. Travers winds up and fires. Fastball bounced foul down the first base line.
Well, I'm keeping an eye on the other 2 games that are going on right now. Obviously, Hyannis already won today. Katuitt's season is over. The Hawks will face the winner of this series right in front of us. But Brewster Harwich now bottom 6. Whitecaps with a 1-run lead, 4-3. YD Chatham still scoreless in bottom 5.
Close games in the East. 2-2. Check swing on the high outside fastball. And Osterhaus held off, says second base umpire Sam Finn. So the count now full. Max Farrell at second base. He got aboard via a walk and then ran to second on a wild pitch from Travers. Now the lefty Alv Longwood hopes to keep him there. No outs in the top of the 7th. The 3-2, runner goes, pitch low, no throw down the third base. Farrell has the stolen bag, and there's runners on the corners with no outs in the top of the 7th. This Bourne team just never takes its pedal off the metal, even with a 6-run lead.
Yeah, it's just another stolen base, and Jack Dahm is going to walk out, but this is a conversation with the home plate umpire and not the guy on the mound. But, you know, Falmouth is not really doing a lot to hold these runners on. And I think that that's been part of the problem today, is that Brooks has had kind of an up and down day behind the plate as a catcher, and then they just, you know, the arms in the game for the Commodores haven't really been stepping off that much, so they're just not really doing that much to figure that out.
That was an odd visit. Dom walked towards home plate, met up with Joe Gravina, and then the two of them walked to the mound to speak with Cal Travers. And after a maybe 5-second conversation, everyone returned to their spots. So everything remains okay. Now Dallas Brooks calls time behind home plate, yells out a few instructions to his infield, and walks back behind home plate. Corners occupied, no outs in the top of the 7th, already an 8-2 lead for Bourne in Game 2 of the West Division semis. First pitch to Austin Hawk, but first a pickoff attempt to first. Osterhaus back in time. Hawk a single in the 5th, a walk in the 2nd. So you have more in him in the late stages of this game. Shows bunt, Fastball called for a strike, and Osterhaus takes second on a stolen bag. This might go as a defensive interference. There was no throw down to second for a second straight stolen bag attempt. And now 2 runners in scoring position. An 0-1 count on Austin Hawk, and a chance to now maybe get 10 runs on the board for Bourne. The infield comes in, all 4 of them, 0-1. Swings away, he pummels it foul down the right field line. Hawk surely caught this Commodores defense off guard. They were all playing for the bunt. Instead, he blasts the 0-1 pitch, but can't straighten it out. And now down in the count, 0-2. Max Farrell at third base, Justin Osterhaus at second. They both take hefty leads. Infield in again for the 0-2 pitch. On its way, swing and a pop-up foul territory right side. Gregor, the right fielder, watches it drop towards the fans. And the count remains 0-2. A good crowd that has started to thin out at Gov Fuller Field. This was the first playoff game at home for the Commodores in 3 seasons. And the hometown fans certainly came out, but have been greeted to a poor performance. 0-2, misses outside on the fastball. 8-2, all Braves in game number 2 of this West Division semifinal. It's a similar story last night. Same final score, 8-2 for the Bravos. Trying to add on some more. The 1-2 pitch. Hawk swings and pops it foul behind home plate.
The Braves just continue to put pressure on this Falmouth pitching staff, who we've talked about has not performed super well all season long, but by just extending these at-bats, it really just makes it even more difficult to get just a little bit of momentum here. And so even if Hawk ends up getting out on this at-bat, it's still going to be successful because he's making Travers throw more pitches.
Infield still in, all playing either on the grass or near it. The 1-2, grounded up the middle and through for a base hit. 1 run in to score easily. Osterhaus gets the sign as well, and it's a 2 RBI single for Austin Hawk. 10 runs on the scoreboard for the Braves. They lead by 8 over the Commodores in the top of the 7th.
Yeah, well, the hits just keep coming for the Braves. Hawks got 2 of them now here today, and Jack Dom's going to head out of the dugout and make another call to the pen. It just, you know, Bourne has experience with these kinds of blowout playoff victories. That's how the game clincher was of the Cape League Championship last season against YD. And this is just a tough way to seemingly end the road here if you're Falmouth. The pitching has been an issue all season long, but you thought that the bats might be able to keep up with Bourne in this series. So far, they've just been stuck at 2 runs for far too long.
The day is done for Cal Travers. Bourne leads 10-2 and will take a step aside for the pitching change. All Braves, don't go anywhere. You're listening to Cape League Baseball on Cape League TV. J.R. Struck, the new man on the mound for the Commodores. He inherits a runner at first base and a 10-2 deficit in the top of the 7th inning for his Falmouth Commodores against the Bourne Braves. Welcome back to Gov Fuller Field. It's Bryce Estep at the plate. Righty-righty matchup between Struck and Estep. Austin Hawk takes his small lead off of first base after an RBI single. The first pitch, Estep pounds it behind home plate. 0-1 the count. Still no outs in the top of the 7th. Struck has to clean up the damage that Cal Travers left to walk a walk and then a 2 RBI single to make this lead at 8. Next pitch, Estep watches the fastball down the heart of the zone for a strike. 0-2 the count on the right-handed catcher. Committed to play at South Carolina this coming year. Hawk takes a small lead off of first. Struck fires. Curveballs called strike 3. The looping off speed rings up Estep with the backwards K, and there's 1 down to start off the 7th. Gabriel Milano comes to the plate. He pinch hit in the 5th and has stayed in the game at first base, replacing Riker Waite. First pitch to the lefty. Hit high in the air, left side foul territory. Third baseman Jeffries gets under it and makes the grab along the left field line for out number 2. So it just takes 1 pitch to retire Milano, and now there's 2 down. Still a runner at first base for the Braves in the top of the 7th. It's been a dominant offensive and defensive performance for the Braves. They try to clinch another divisional championship berth. First pitch, fastball clubbed foul to the left side by Rustin Rigdon. An 0-1 count on the switch hitter out of Vanderbilt. Rigdon batting from the left side against a righty Struck. Struck will be playing at Gardner-Webb next year after his freshman season with D2 Rollins. 0-1 fastball called strike on the inner third. Struck has had mixed results against this Braves team. Gave up 4 runs last week, but was the pitcher on the mound as the Commodores clinched a playoff spot against this Braves team. 0-2, fastball misses low and inside, and it's a 1-2 count on Rustin Rigdon. Austin Hawk has stayed put at first base. He had a 2 RBI single that scored Max Farrell and Justin Osterhaus. Next pitch misses inside on the breaking ball, and the count now even. 2's across the scoreboard. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 away. Can J.R. Struck get out of the inning? Comes set, hunches over, fires. Fastball popped high in the air out to left field. Peralta, the center fielder, rushes in and makes the grab for out number 3. Struck comes in, does what he needs to do, but it's still a loud inning for the Bourne Braves. A 2 RBI single from Austin Hawk makes the lead 10-2. Stretch time at Gov Fuller Field. We go to the bottom of the 7th. Don't go anywhere. You're listening to Cape League postseason baseball on Cape League TV.
Jack it up.
Bottom of inning 7 at Gov Fuller Field. A comfortable lead for the Bourne Braves, 10-2 over the Falmouth Commodores in game number 2 of the West Division semifinals. Bourne close to punting its ticket to the next round here on the road. Alongside Daniel Stein, I'm Alex Burstein. New man on the mound for the Braves, Joshua Surgow, comes on to relieve Maddox Webb, the West Virginia Mountaineer, making his postseason debut.
Yeah, a guy making his postseason debut, but obviously with West Virginia, it's a team that did plenty of postseason baseball this spring, got to the College World Series, and Surgow, his action was pretty limited there, just 10 innings, but 3.6 ERA.
He faces off against a left-handed Gavin Gregor. Lefty-lefty matchup to begin the 7th. High leg kick, first pitch. Fastball misses inside, a 1-0 count on Gregor. Surgow did actually get some postseason experience despite only 10 innings on the season. He played in the Big 12 tournament semifinals as he winds up and fires. 1-0 fastball misses high and a 2-0 count. He did something that many college pitchers could not do, and he retired Landon Hairston, the projected top 3 pick in the next year's Major League Baseball draft. 2-0. Bounces in the dirt off the equipment of ASCAP and looks like it clipped Joe Gravina, the home plate umpire, as well. He hunches over behind home plate, and his fellow umpires will come over to check on him. That's just one of those unfortunate plays where bounced off of the ground, ASCAP, and the umpire.
Well, I'm not quite sure where exactly it got him, but I think it got him on the right side of his neck, maybe up near his jaw, and that was a ball that took a bounce already off the ground. He's not wearing really like a full umpire helmet. A lot of those guys, especially when you see it at the majors, you know, they got basically like what a catcher has, and they have a helmet that goes all the way around, including more protection on the ear. But the home plate umpire here today kind of just has the one that goes over his face and doesn't necessarily protect the back of his head. He's still standing up and talking to the trainers, though.
Scott Landers, the manager for the Braves, uses it as an opportunity to walk out to the mound and talk with his left-hander, Joshua Surgow, who has thrown 3 balls, including that last wild pitch, to start off his outing. Jack Dahm gives some final words to Joe Gravina, who seems to be okay, always a good sight for the home plate umpire, and he's going to stay behind home plate as well. Sometimes you'll see switch after that, but he'll be a champ and stay on for the final 3 innings of this contest. Due to the delay, Surgow gets a couple of warm-up pitches, practicing out that fastball that hasn't worked in the first few pitches thrown against Gavin Gregor. 3 balls and no strikes. First batter faced in the last of the 7th. His Bourne Braves up 10-2. Does Falmouth have any late offensive magic? Surgow's 3-0 pitch. Gregor watches the fastball for a strike on the outer third. 3-1 the count. Surgow works in the upper 80s with his fastball. Fires again. Fastball misses high above the letters, and it's a 5-pitch walk to Gavin Gregor to start off the 7th.
Surgow not necessarily throwing hard on the mound. We haven't seen any pitch from him exceed 90 miles an hour, but just not able to find the zone here. And especially with how lefty-heavy this Falmouth lineup is, you got to assume that that's why Landers put him in this game to, play that platoon matchup and get some weak contact.
Goes against the lefty Fabio Peralta. First pitch. Peralta takes the fastball low, and it's a 1-0 count. Peralta has had a rough day. 3 strikeouts, all swinging. 1-0 pitch. Peralta takes the fastball inside and goes ahead in the count 2-0. Third baseman Austin Hawk playing in. He's on the edge of the infield grass. The middle infielder is playing back for anything up the middle from the lefty Peralta. Long wait. Surgow twirls the 2-0. Slider catches the inner third. 78-mile-per-hour off-speed, filthy from Surgao, and it's a 2-1 count. Braden Jeffries on deck, A.J. Putty in the hole. Runner at first with no outs in the bottom of the 7th. Surgao's 2-1. Slider dribbled foul off to the right side. If results hold, Bourne on to the West Division Finals, where they'll meet up against the Hyannis Harbor Hawks. Game 1 likely slated for this coming Friday at McKeon Park. The Harbor Hawks, #1 seed in the West, so they get home field advantage. Pickoff attempt to first, not in time. Gregor dives back safely, and count stays even at 2 apiece. Going across the league, Brewster now a 5-3 lead over Harwich in the bottom of the 7th. Surgao waits and fires the 2-2. Slider sliced foul down the left field line. That would, if the result holds, force a Game 3 between Brewster and Harwich at Stony Brook Field tomorrow at 4. And the other East Division matchup, scoreless between YD and Chatham in the middle of the 6th. Chatham a 1-0 series lead in that one. So the Anglers trying to move on to the 2nd round with a win tonight. 2 balls and 2 strikes on Fabio Peralta. He's worked a long at bat, tiring out Joshua Surgao. Just a second batter face. The 2-2. Fastball just zips outside. He stepped behind home plate, tried to frame that up. He could not do so, and it's a full count. Three balls, 2 strikes. Surgao's payoff pitch. Slider swing and a miss, strike 3. Peralta can't catch up to the off speed, and there's 1 away in the bottom of the 7th.
A tough night for Peralta, who's usually one of the more valuable hitters in this Commodore lineup. 4 strikeouts for him. It's just not something you're really accustomed to seeing. Falmouth just running out of chances here to try to dig into this lead.
Lefty Braden Jeffries at the plate. Surgao looks towards first, comes home. First pitch slider, a called strike. 0-1 the count. New man catching for the Bourne Braves. Cam Papetti replaces Bryce Estep. So Papetti making his first appearance of the postseason. 0-1 count on Jeffries. Pitch. Fastball called strike on the outer third. Jeffries down 0-2. I think that's been kind of the big trend throughout these 2 games. Commodores just not getting production out of some of their top hitters. You go from Fabio Peralta and Jeffries, 2 top guys. They're combined 1 for 7 tonight. As Surgao's 0-2. Slider clubbed into center field. It drops for a base hit. So Jeffries makes me eat my words. He has 2 hits tonight, and there's 2 aboard at first and second for the Commodores in the bottom of the 7th.
Yeah, 3 constants in life: death, taxes, and the announcer's jinx, which is always undefeated. But it is a good point to be made, because even when you think about a guy like Jeffries, who has 2 hits today, he hasn't been put in a position to cash in any runs because Peralta has not found the base paths today. Gregor was 0 for 2 before his last plate appearance, and then, you know, Putty has 2 singles today as well, but he hasn't really had runners on.
Putty at the plate, the right-handed hitter takes a first pitch strike. 0-1 the count. This Commodores team hasn't scored since the 4th inning, where Jeff Luigi singled and came around score on a ground out from Dallas Brooks. The 0-1 pitch to Putty. Fastball dips low and inside, and the count evens out at 1 apiece. The other run, Matthew Farner off an RBI single from Dallas Brooks back in the 2nd. In the first couple of innings, Commodores went back and forth to at least stay competitive in this game, but then Bourne's bats just never went to sleep. The 1-1, fastball cranked into center field and caught on a leap from the second baseman Osterhaus. Everyone retreats back to their bags in time. Ball just died out in short center field, and a nice moving play from the Alabama product for the 2nd out. 2 down, 2 on for the Commodores in the last of the 7th inning. It's a 10-2 Falmouth lead, Bourne lead. Tommy Harrison at the plate. First pitch. Slider misses outside, and the count goes 1-0. Gregor stands at second base. Jeffries at first. A walk to Gregor, single for Jeffries. Can the strong hitter out of Miami, Ohio, bring either of them home? 1-0. Fastball called strike on the inner third, and the count evens out at 1 apiece.
Looks like Jack Dom's going to his bench should Harrison reach here. You got Drew Turpin's waiting on deck. He would hit for Matthew Farner.
Only 4 people on the bench tonight for Falmouth. 1-1. Misses way high on the heater. Harrison pulls ahead in the count. Harrison with just 1 hit across 7 plate appearances this postseason. The 2-1. Slider, swing and a miss. Surgow got him chasing near the dirt. And now the Commodores down to their last strike in the 7th inning. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 away. There is 2 men aboard for Falmouth, trailing 10-2 to the Braves in Game 2 of this West Division semifinal. Surgow comes set at his chest, fires home. Pitch misses low. The changeup couldn't be contained. And it's a full count. Harrison, a strikeout in the first inning, stranded a runner. An out here would strand a pair. Falmouth needs something quickly if they want to keep their season alive. Down by 8 in the last of the 7th. 3 balls, 2 strikes, payoff pitch. Fastball, called strike at the knees. Backwards K closes out the first inning of work for Joshua Surgow, and the Braves keep on rolling. It's 10-2 Bourne as we go to the 8th and turn over the play-by-play duties to Daniel Stein. Don't go anywhere. You're listening to Cape League Baseball on Cape League TV.
Top of the 8th here at Gov Fuller Field, where it's 10-2 Bourne. The Bravos have grabbed the hold of this series and don't seem to have any intention of giving it back here, as J.R. Struck goes back to the mound here to face 3-4-5 in this Bravos lineup, and it starts with the lefty center fielder, Matt Bolton. Infield back, here's the first pitch from Struck, and Bolton rips a ground ball through the right side, gloved by the new second baseman, Austin Maley, and Struck covering the bag, and he is able to hold on to it for the first out. That was a weird play as A.J. Putty ranged over to his right at first, and it bounced off his glove, but Maley was there for it, and a nice play by Struck to stay on there. A lot of defensive substitutions here for this Falmouth squad, as Austin Maley now replaces Nick Croce, who is at second base. Croce now moves to third. First pitch here on Luke Costello is in there for a strike. A lot going on here at Gov Fuller Field as Falmouth just getting all their guys into the game. 0-1 pitch. Fastball cut on and missed. Costello, we thought, was going to be on pace, I should say, for a big day. Had a home run back in inning number 2, but since then, he's gone quiet, a couple strikeouts. He's down 0-2 to J.R. Struck here. The 0-2 pitch. Fastball cut on and missed for strike 3. And very quickly, 2 outs here in the top of the 8th. Struck picks up strikeout number 2. The other big event to happen, we're now joined by associate producer Jason Stellakis. Jason, thanks for joining the show here.
Thank you for having me on. This is a pleasure. Been waiting for this moment for a while. And
course.
finally, we get some action here.
Happy to have it here, as it's been a game that has had plenty of action here, and now we're going to have one more substitution as Ryan Pikatoski is going to pinch hit for Berkeley Mabius. So really the bench is emptying here if you're Scotlanders and for Jack Dahm as well. First pitch righty-righty to Pikatoski is upstairs for ball 1. This guy is a really fun story, playing his previous season at South Carolina Sumter. It's a JUCO squad in South Carolina, tore it up there. 1-0, fastball misses outside. Now he's moving on to West Virginia. So how do you go from a JUCO squad to one of the best teams in the country who just made a College World Series by hitting .463 with 25 home runs in JUCO? That's what Pikatoski did. The 2-0 pitch. Fastball cut on and missed. Hasn't been as successful for him since coming to the Cape. Just a 143 average in a handful of games.
Yeah, this is where, if you're Falmouth, you have to, even if you're losing, leverage to your most trusted arms.
2-1. Fastball misses upstairs. Ground out and a strikeout have started off this inning. Bolton and Costello both down. Pikatoski pinch hitting for Berkeley Mabius in the DH spot. 3-1, here's the pitch. Fastball, he's behind on it again at 89. 3-2, 2 outs. Infield back here in the top of the 8th. All Braves here on the road. Braves just 6 outs away from facing Hyannis in the West Division Finals. Struck's 3-2 pitch. High fastball, waved and missed for strike 3. Touches 90 and collects his 3rd strikeout here in his outing. Struck pitches a 1-2-3 inning. Falmouth really needs some runs fast. They're chasing 8 as we go to bottom of the 8th. Still 10-2 here, listening to Playoff Baseball on Cape League TV. Bottom of the 8th at Gov Fuller Field. Still 10-2 between Bourne and Falmouth in Game 2 of this West Division semifinal matchup. Thanks so much for tuning in here. Daniel Stein still joined here by Jason Stellakis as we reach the middle of this Commodore order. It's going to start with the pinch hitter as Drew Turpins will indeed take this at-bat against a new arm in the game, Colton Starling.
Yeah, second stop of the summer. He started this summer with the Strasburg Express of the Valley League, where he had a sub-2 ERA and a whip of .87 and 37 strikeouts in 23 innings pitched. So, Daniel, you're getting the real deal here.
Valley League, no joke. Strasburg has had good pitching last couple of years down in Virginia. He faces Drew Turpins, the Mount Mercy man, checking in. Righty-righty matchup with Bourne's infield back.
First pitch swinging.
And first pitch missing on the fastball. Got an interesting story about Drew Turpins, who's, like me and Alex, a Illinois guy. Comes from Mount Prospect out in the north suburbs. 0-1 pitch. He swings and misses at the slider at 81. So Turpins went to Prospect High School, and I went to New Trier, which was about 20 minutes apart from him. Back in the day, I was calling a playoff game when our two teams played each other, and he was in that game. I believe he was the starting shortstop, I want to say.
Did you win?
We did win. 0-2. Turpins watches a pitch just outside at 82. It's pretty special to see something full circle, and definitely a name that I hadn't thought about in a long time. But, you know, you go see the Falmouth roster, and even cooler to see that he's really playing well at Mount Mercy under Jack Dom. 1-2. Turpins just gets a piece of it and fouls it away.
Yeah, around the Cape League right now, real quick. Harwich and Brewster, they're tied at 5, top 8. And then in the Chatham YD game, they're still tied 0-0 in the bottom of the 7th. So scoreboard watching late here.
So a couple of good finishes ahead in the East. 1-2. Turpin swings and misses at 91. Starling strikes out the first man he faces. Quickly one away as Turpins will give some advice to Carter White, who will check in after him. Carter White today 0 for 3. He's got a couple flyouts and a pop-out. He was given new life back in inning number 4 when Bryce Eastep had an error on a dropped pop-up in foul territory. Starling back to work from the stretch. First pitch righty-lefty. Swing and a miss at a ball at his head. Comes in at 90.
Yeah, the ball comes in at 90, but sometimes the ball can feel like it's coming at you at 94, 95, especially in this environment. Very warm and moist.
Commodores down to their final 6 outs here. White trying to get on base for the first time today. Second pitch, 89 on the outside corner. It's quickly 0-2.
You know, you look at this box score, kind of what we talked pregame. Falmouth's timely hitting, they're not really getting it. Seven hits, 2 runs, opposed to Bourne's 10 runs on 9 hits.
Starling comes set, sets at his right jaw, and deals a pitch outside. Crowd, as expected, has significantly quieted here at the Gov. There's a decent amount of Bourne fans here. Overall, it's not that far of a travel for the Bravos faithful. 1-2. White watches one low and away. It's a very calming atmosphere, really, at all the Cape League parks. I think the Gov, more than most, got a really good concession truck down that first base line. It serves a whole range of food. It's one of the cool parts about the Gov. Starling's 2-2. High fastball popped up towards the left side. This one will find the trees out of play.
Yeah, you can see our own Gabby Chernoff on Inside the Cape League try their alligator bites.
And that is an item that still amazes me that it's even available here in this part of the country. I think of that more as a southern thing, but anyone who comes to a Commodores game needs to try it. 2-2 on White. Just misses inside on the off speed. Nicely framed by the catcher Papetti. White works the count full. 1 out here in the bottom of the 8th. 10-2. Bourne trying to punch their ticket back to the West Finals. Starling ready. His full count pitch to Carter White. Ground ball to the right side. Gloved by the second baseman Osterhaus. He throws over a bit wide, but Milano keeps his foot on the bag. And there's 2 outs on the 4-3.
A can of corn ground ball to second base. Tough play, tough angle, but good job by the first baseman to keep his foot off the bag there.
So Nick Croce will step up now with 2 outs here in the bottom of the 8th. He's pinch hitting for Jeff Luigi. He entered the game back in the 7th, but this is his first at-bat. Base is empty here with 2 outs. The first pitch from the stretch is a slider on the outside corner for strike 1. Croce, another guy who's pretty new to this lineup, and in his short span with Falmouth, he's been pretty good. 4 games, 5 hits in that span as well. 0-1, Starling's pitch. Slider low and away. Comes off a nice season at Chippewa Junior College. 26 RBI, a couple of home runs as well. Wrapped up a good summer with the Saugerties Stallions in the Perfect Game League. 1-1. Pop-up goes over our heads, but should stay in the confines of the Gov. A couple young fans will chase after it. 1-2 here. Commodores down to their final 4 outs. Bourne pitching has just been stellar in this series. 18 runs as well on offense through almost a game and a half. 1-2 from Starling. Slider misses outside. It's really just a complete performance from Bourne, especially today. They got a phenomenal start from Ben Dean. Goes 4 innings, allows just 4 hits, doesn't walk anyone, and strikes out 8. Just 2 earned runs given up. 2-2. Starling's pitch. Fastball runs inside on Croce, who has to move his leg out of the way. 3-2 coming up. Home plate umpire is going to kick some dirt off the plate with his right foot and then get back behind Papetti for the upcoming 3-2 pitch. 2 outs, base is clear. Starling into the game for his first inning of work. His 3-2 pitch on Croce. Slider grounded to the left side. Rustin Rigdon backs up, fields, throws across the diamond, and completes the out. 1-2-3 inning for Colton Starling. We've played 8 complete here at the Gov. The Braves can start to taste it now. We go to the 9th. Bravo's bats coming up for the final time here on Cape Lake TV. Top 9 at the Gov, where Bourne has a 10-2 lead, and will have one more chance to get some insurance before the bottom of the 9th. Already leading by 8, and it's a new arm in the game for the Commodores. It's Caniel Rosado, newest Commodore into the game.
Yeah, Rosado making his first appearance of the postseason, and he may be the last arm of the postseason for this Commodores team. Split time as a bullpen guy and a starter for the Commodores in the regular season in a relief role.
First task is Max Farrell. The first pitch fouled off at 91. Farrell today has a couple of walks and a couple of flyouts. It's been a Bourne group that has really taken advantage of what Falmouth has given them by way of the free passes. Got 8 walks as a group tonight. Rosado's 0-1. Fastball grooved to the outer part of the zone. Does not get the call, 1-1. Farrell was the starting first baseman tonight, moved into left field in the 5th inning. Rosado ready from the stretch, the 1-1. Breaking ball just misses upstairs, does not get the call from Joe Gravina behind the plate. It's a Bourne team that is just dangerous in the 2 seed. Really did not have a good end to the regular season. Lost their final 7. Here they are making quick work of Falmouth in the first round. 2-1. Fastball nicks the inside corner. Evens the count at 2 apiece at 91. Hyannis, if you didn't hear, won earlier today. They took care of Katuitt in just 2 games. Bourne is just a couple outs away from doing the same here to Falmouth. 2-2, nobody out. Infield back. Rosado kicks and deals. Swing and a miss. Buried a slider. And he strikes out Farrell. 1 out here in the top of the 9th. That was a filthy breaking ball.
And that's an interesting matchup, most likely now, Bourne and Hyannis. You have one of the teams that were coldest to end the regular season against one of the hottest in Hyannis. But, I mean, both teams have been dominant in this first round series. It could be a high scoring or very low scoring when these 2 teams face off against each other.
Justin Osterhaus is out of the game. Elliot Medlock in for his place. First pitch to Medlock is fouled away. Karams off the crimson padding behind home plate. So Scott Landers pretty much completely emptying his bench here. Medlock into the game for Osterhaus. Nothing in 1 out here in the top of the 9th. Bourne leads 10-2 here on Cape League TV. Decisive game 2, this West semifinal. 0-1, fastball right down the pipe at 92. Well, if you like Metro Conference baseball, this game is for you. Falmouth starter Christian Aiello hails from Ryder. Well, so does Elliot Medlock. Both of them are on to new schools. Aiello going to Jack State, Medlock going to Quinnipiac. Pretty nice night for the Ryder Broncos. 0-2. Rosado's pitch. Swing and a miss. He blew it by him at 93. And Rosado has struck out the first 2 men he's faced.
Yeah, the Commodores could have used this earlier on tonight. Rosado controlling the strike zone very well, and that heater fooling a couple of the Braves. Probably too little too late, but a nice way to close out the season pitching-wise for this Falmouth team.
It's going to be an interesting next couple of months for Falmouth, a team that's undergone so much change in the past calendar year. First pitch to Austin Hawk, taken outside. Team was managed by Jared Saltalamacchia last season, former Red Sox great, but he then moved on to a job at the University of Miami. They bring in Jack Dahm, who's a veteran coach, takes him to the playoff in his first season. 1-0 on Hawk. Chopped ground ball to the right side. Charged by Austin Maley, but he can't pick it cleanly, and Hawk is on first base. Hawk's pretty quick moving down that first base line, but Austin Maley is usually pretty sure-handed at second. Couldn't make that play.
Yeah, it was a very low bouncing ball, and he kind of just jammed his glove against the dirt. The ball trickled away from it. 50-50 play. We'll see if it goes as a hit or an error on the transfer portal second baseman, and the Airs continue to ravage up for this Falmouth team.
Gives Cam Papetti an at-bat, the Bryant Bulldog. Runner on first with 2 outs. First one on Papetti misses outside. Local kid from Grafton, Mass. Went to Worcester Academy. Then went to Bryant for a couple seasons. He was very good in 2026, playing in 28 games, hit .266 with a couple of long balls. 1-0. Fastball does not get the call. Joe Gravina behind home plate says in. Missed some time with injury earlier this season, did Papetti, but a season ago he was part of the America East All-Rookie team back in 2025. Taking his first hacks here tonight. Rosado's 2-0 pitch. Fastball hit well towards the right side, foul. This will go out of Gov Fuller Field to make it 2-1.
Well, the Braves got every position player in at bat tonight. Have to imagine that's something Scott Landers is happy about.
2 balls and a strike here with 2 outs. Rosado sets at the belt, looks out at first, now in. Kicks and deals. Fastball finds the zone at the top of it to make it 2-2. Something that Scott Landers told Molly Golden, our sideline reporter, before the All-Star game was his biggest priority in managing the West Division for the All-Star game was just getting everybody in the game. 2-2 with 2 outs. Hawk on first in the top of the 9th. Rosado's pitch. Cold, strike 3. Hits the inside corner at 93, and Papetti is down looking. So Rosado gets all 3 of his outs via the K, and that takes us to the bottom of the 9th. Bourne just 3 outs away from going on to the West Finals. Last of the 9th coming up next here on Cape League TV.
Jack it up.
We've reached the bottom of the 9th here at Gov Fuller Field. Last chance for the Commodores, and they have quite the uphill battle. Trailing 10-2 here in Game 2 of the West semifinals on Cape League TV. Thanks for sticking with us here through what's been a dominant game for Bourne. Bravos lead by 8. Daniel Stein joined by Alex Burstein here for the last of the 9th, and a new arm in the game for the Bravos. Zach Cottrell checking in.
Zach Cottrell making his first appearance of this postseason. The Alabama product has really just a 2-pitch mix. Low 90s four-seamer, and he pairs it with a wipeout slider. Sounds familiar? Pretty much the exact same mix as the starter today in Ben Dean. Bourne Braves have gone with one type of pitcher all day long, and it's worked pretty well.
replaces Colton Starling on the mound and gets Mark Gialusi first pitch in there for strike one. Gialusi pinch hitting here for Dallas Brooks. So now Jack Dahm has dipped into most of his bench. Turpins and Gialusi and Croce have all had at-bats. 0-1. Knuckling pop-up to the right side, caught by the second baseman Osterhaus. Correction, that's Elliot Medlock newly into the game, playing second base.
A lot of substitutions.
A lot of them. Too many to count sometimes. Braves now just 2 outs away from going to the West Finals. Gavin Gregor checking in. Cottrell ready. His first pitch, righty-lefty, is a fastball at the knees for strike one. Nothing in one with 1 out here in the bottom of the ninth. Gregor today 0 for 2 with the walk. Cottrell takes a deep breath, kicks and fires. Breaking ball with some nasty spin on it. Gets a swing and a miss from Gregor, and it's 0-2. When Cottrell kicks and fires, he kind of bends his leg a little bit. It doesn't come forward as straight as a lot of other pitchers' winds do. His 0-2 pitch, Gregor takes cold strike 3 right down the middle. And Bourne is now 1 out away from the West Final.
Cottrell's pumping heat, and you can tell the Bourne fans on the third base side are happy to see it. This would be the 6th straight year into the second round of the playoffs for Bourne, and they are knocking on the door.
Comes down to Fabio Peralta, who's 0 for 4 today. Righty-lefty, the first pitch. Peralta takes a breaking ball low and inside. There hasn't been a team in the Cape League Championship out of the West Division not named Bourne this decade. You have to go back to Katuitt in 2019. To where last time the Braves were not that far. 1-0. Peralta watches a fastball in the outer half for a strike.
And the common denominator, 5 of those times, it was Scott Landers as the manager of this team. He just really knows how to put on a show in August.
His 5th season, he's already got 3 Cape League championships. He's looking for number 4 in 2026. Cottrell's 1-1. Breaking ball taken for a called strike. And the Commodores down to their final strike. 1-2, 2 outs in the bottom of the ninth. 10-2, Bourne 1 strike away from a series win. Cottrell sets at the belt. Looks in. His 1-2 pitch to Peralta. Checks his swing. Did he go? Yes, he did. And Bourne is going back to the West Finals. A 1-2-3 inning for Cottrell. And he strikes out Peralta to slam the door on Falmouth's season. Bourne has a hot date with the Hyannis Harbor Hawks coming up, as you just can't bet against Scott Landers in the postseason. They come in as the 2 seed in the midst of a 7-game losing streak, and they defeat the Falmouth Commodores in just 2 games. And Alex, Hyannis versus Bourne, 1 versus 2 in the West. Boy, that's going to be a fun one.
Yeah, that's the matchup you really wanted to see when these pairings came out. Hyannis was chasing Bourne for the last few weeks of the season, finally caught them over the last weekend. So, Hyannis wants to keep that going, and Bourne has a, I guess you could say, sour taste in their mouth after not taking the division title. So this should be a really fun matchup beginning in a couple of days.
Final score in this one, Bourne 10, Falmouth 2. Bourne wins the CCBL West semifinal, taking down Falmouth in 2 games, and will face the Hyannis Harbor Hawks in the West final. Well, that'll do it for our broadcast this evening, but please stay tuned where Alex and I will break down the game on our Cape League TV playoff postgame report. And it's a sour note for Falmouth, whose season ends at home. The doors dropped this one by a score of 10-2. Bourne moving on to the second round. So thanks so much for tuning in. For our great producers, Ryan Croak and Jason Stellakis, my partner, Alex Burstein, I'm signing off. Tuning in to the post-game show coming up. I'm Daniel Stein saying good night here from Gov Fuller Field. Bourne wins this one 10-2.